Transmigrated into a villain. After my arrival, all the female leads are pregnant. Ji Bochang frequently transmigrates into the fantasy novels he writes, but unexpectedly, he finds himself in the body of a major villain who is doomed to die at the hands of the protagonist. Just as Ji Bochang is on the brink of despair, the system arrives. Chapter 1, Female Disciple. I, Ji Bochang, accept her. On the heavenly Xian continent, in Zhongzhou. Heavenly Demon Sect. Sect Square. A group of disciples who passed the outer sect assessment stood in the square, eagerly awaiting to be accepted by the sect elders, guardians, or deacons as their disciples. The Heavenly Demon Sect is one of the 4 top sects in Zhongzhou. Becoming an outer sect disciple of the Heavenly Demon Sect signifies a brighter future ahead. Li Kunlun, I accept you as my personal disciple. The Grand Elder's gaze was filled with fiery enthusiasm as he locked eyes with the man who ranked first in this outer sect assessment. Thank you, Grand Elder. The man immediately knelt and kowtowed, tears of joy streaming down his face. And so, one by one, the elders selected their disciples. When it came time for Elder 5 to choose, his eyes gleamed with a perverse light. His gaze fixed on a female disciple tall and slender, with an alluring figure, fair and delicate skin, and a charming face. This female disciple had also performed well in the assessment, though she wasn't outstanding enough to be chosen by the elders. But Elder 5 was notorious for his lecherous behavior and was extremely ugly, with a huge, bloated face and large ears. As soon as he laid his eyes on her, Ji Bochang immediately noticed and her eyes widened in alarm. Her pupils constricted slightly, and her face turned pale with fear and dread. This female disciple. I accept you as my disciple, Elder 5 said, a lecherous grin spreading across his face. He. Come here quickly. He beckoned to her with lustful eyes. Ji Bochang's face turned completely white, her expression one of terror. She hesitated and did not dare step forward. The surrounding disciples quickly stepped aside, making her the center of attention. Some of the disciples who were familiar with Elder 5's reputation looked at her with a mixture of pity. Miss, don't you hear me? Seeing her hesitation, Elder 5 immediately became enraged. He couldn't tolerate anyone showing such defiance. In his mind, he already decided he would punish this female disciple severely later. Ji Bochang's delicate body trembled slightly, and she bit her lower lip, feeling despair. She knew all too well about Elder 5's reputation in the Heavenly Demon Sect. But at that moment, she saw no way out and could only resign herself to her fate. Just as she was about to give in, a calm, confident voice suddenly rang out from not far away. I accept this female disciple. The voice was steady and unyielding, pleasant to the ear, with a noble air. Upon hearing this, all the disciples who had passed the entrance assessment, as well as the elders, guardians, and deacons, turned to look. A tall, handsome young man, dressed in a black robe with a straight collar, his long hair tied up with a dragon-esque beard hanging over his left cheek, walked toward them with a folding fan in his hand. He was Ji Bochang, the son of the sect leader of the Heavenly Demon Sect. Since childhood, he had inherited his father's excellent bloodline and superior genes, with unmatched talent and extraordinary potential. However, he was also known for his unruly nature, indolent, lazy, and never practicing cultivation even once since birth. Not even when his father's golden embroidered serpent belt was on the verge of burning out did he bother to cultivate. But at this moment, the soul within this body was no longer his. It was that of a young man from the 21st century, a good-natured person from modern society. Ji Bochang. What did you say? Upon hearing Ji Bochang's words, Elder 5 immediately stood up, his face filled with anger. He thought to himself, what is this good-for-nothing, spoiled young master doing here? He wants to take the female disciple I've chosen. The other elders were also surprised, unsure why the young master, who was notorious for being a waste, would interfere today. The disciples looked on with mixed feelings. They knew who Ji Bochang was, but most of them were only aware of his negative reputation. However, seeing him in person, they had to admit that he did exude a certain charm. Ji Bochang looked at the young, reckless young master Ji Bochang, and for some reason, her heart began to race. Her chest fluttered like a deer in the headlights. So handsome. Shut up, you fat pig. Ji Bochang flicked his wrist and opened his folding fan, elegantly fanning it. His demeanor radiated nobility. He glanced coldly at the obese Elder 5, who was standing on the high platform, and said with an icy tone, "This female disciple is mine." I accept her as my, personal disciple. Ji Bochang's nonchalant, spoiled attitude immediately stunned everyone around. Elder Five's face darkened as his expression turned red with fury. You are beyond outrageous. Yes, I am beyond outrageous. What's the problem, fat pig? Ji Bochang responded casually, as though he didn't take Elder Five seriously at all. He walked forward toward the tall female disciple without a second glance at the enraged elder. Seeing her flustered and nervous, he gave her a charming smile, his eyes narrowing slightly. Disciple, come with me. From now on, you will be my first personal disciple. Ji Bochang then looked at her and softly asked, What's your name? Ji Yuqingxue trembled slightly, her face flushing red as she stammered, I'm Ji Yuqingxue. Staring at the handsome face in front of her, Ji Yuqingxue's heart raced wildly, as though she were a deer caught in headlights. Are you willing to become my personal disciple? I am willing. Congratulations, host, you have successfully gained your first female disciple. Reward, God-level physique, Heavenly Emperor's yang body, and God-level cultivation technique, Heavenly Emperor's method. Female disciple, Ji Yuqingxue. Age, 18. Appearance, beautiful. Physique, Xianyin body. Cultivation, first stage of spirit fusion. Children, 0. Body refining, spirit fusion, spirit ordinary, Tao Lord, King, Lesser Saint, Great Saint, Emperor. As Ji Bochang read the sudden panel in front of him and heard the voice echoing in his mind, his heart screamed out in excitement, nice. He was originally from the distant Blue Star, but he had transmigrated into a novel he had written himself. However, instead of entering the body of the protagonist, he had transmigrated into the body of a major antagonist in the early stages of the story, specifically, the son of the heavenly demon sect's leader, Ji Bochang. Realizing that he was destined to be torn apart by the protagonist in the near future, his mindset completely shattered. He had no thoughts of reversing his fate. After all, the villain he had created was exceptionally talented, but he had never practiced cultivation a day in his life. Even when the day of his dismemberment arrived, his cultivation level would still be extremely weak. All he could rely on to oppose the protagonist was his identity and background. How could he possibly change his fate and overcome the protagonist by starting cultivation now? However, just as despair overtook him, a golden hand appeared. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have unlocked the Take Female Disciple and Prosper system. As long as the host diligently accepts female disciples and cultivates them, producing offspring to benefit humanity, you will receive generous rewards. Reversing fate, stepping on the protagonist, and taking the protagonist's woman are no longer impossible. Please immediately take your first female disciple and cultivate to produce your first offspring. Note, the better the female disciple's appearance and talent, the better the rewards will be. Hearing these words echo in his mind, Ji Bochang suddenly felt alive again. His fighting spirit was reignited. And since he knew the entire story of the novel inside and out, he could recite it backward. With the help of his godlike perspective and the system, wasn't the sky high and the beauties waiting to be picked? It was the day for the outer sect recruitment of the heavenly demon sect, so he hurried to the scene. Luckily, he arrived just in time. If not, Ji Yuqingxue would have walked down an irreversible path. As the original author, Ji Bochang knew exactly what was going to happen to her. Ji Yuqingxue's role had been designed as a tragic one. She was also a villainess, a character doomed to be vilified by the entire continent. Then come with me, my obedient disciple. Ji Bochang gazed at her delicate, charming face and felt an inexplicable pang of sympathy. Indeed, she was still an innocent and charming girl at this point, not yet the infamous witch of the heavenly Xian continent. Well then, I will rewrite your fate once more. Ji Bochang, you're outrageous. You may be the young master of the heavenly demon sect, but you cannot behave this recklessly. It's the day for the outer sect recruitment, and you, a mere disciple with no cultivation, dare to accept disciples and ruin their futures. You are harming female disciples. Even though you're the young master, I will not allow this. Elder Five on the high platform was practically livid, his face flushed a deep purple, looking like a boiled pig's head. Upon hearing this, Ji Bochang's face darkened. He knew exactly where he stood in the heavenly demon sect. Although his father outwardly pretended to be unlucky, the one he truly valued most was Ji Bochang, especially since his late mother had passed away. That was why Ji Bochang had lived such a carefree, unrestrained life without ever practicing cultivation. Did you just call me a spoiled playboy? Go ahead, say it out loud and let me hear it. Ji Bochang looked at the enraged Elder Five with cold eyes. He spoke with a chilling tone. A sudden aura of invincibility emerged around him, making everyone present pause in shock. Even Elder Five was taken aback, feeling a strange sense of unease. This spoiled brat, who hasn't even reached the spirit fusion stage, is actually making me feel afraid. This strange feeling reminded him of Ji Bochang's father. What? You don't dare? If you don't dare, then shut up, you fat pig. The disgusting things you've done. I feel sick just thinking about them. Seeing Elder Five's expression, Ji Bochang sneered in disdain. Then, in full view of everyone, he took Ji Yuqingshua's delicate, fair hand and walked away. Ji Yuqingshua's eyes blinked rapidly, her heart racing uncontrollably. She felt that she had completely fallen for this seemingly bad young master. As Ji Bochang left, Elder Five didn't dare speak again. He could only stand there, his face flushed with embarrassment and humiliation, gritting his teeth in frustration. Chapter 2, Ji Yuqingshua's pregnancy. Her offspring will surely become an emperor. Ji Bochang took Ji Yuqingshua to his private residence. His personal residence was on a small mountain peak next to the sect leader's peak, a lavish and luxurious palace capable of housing thousands of beautiful disciples. Qingshua, why is your face so red? Do you have a fever? After pulling Ji Yuqingshua into his bedroom, Ji Bochang still didn't let go of her delicate hand. He looked at her, who was shyly avoiding his gaze, and gently asked. Ji Yuqingshua's face was filled with shyness and nervousness. She was aware of the rumors surrounding the young master of the heavenly demon sect, but for some reason, she didn't feel repulsed at all. On the contrary, she found this handsome yet somewhat mischievous man incredibly charming. No. No, thank you, master. No need to thank me. I chose you the moment I laid eyes on you, Ji Bochang said openly, a faint, charming smile forming on his lips, slightly wicked and wild. Then, without warning, he pressed his face close to hers and rested his forehead against hers. The suddenness of the action caused Ji Yuqingshua's eyes to widen in shock, and her face turned crimson, as if it might bleed from the intensity. Her ears were completely red. So hot. You must have a fever, right? Ji Bochang showed no intention of taking it slow. Instead, he intensified his approach, planning to take advantage of the moment and begin his cultivation with her. Ji Yuqingshua felt overwhelmed by the masculine aura surrounding him, her mind going blank. She felt faint, and her body nearly collapsed into his arms. She stuttered in confusion, flustered and nervous. Did you get injured during the outer sect examination? Ji Bochang looked at her with a caring expression. He quickly swept her up into his arms and, with a concerned look, carried her to his bed draped in silk sheets. Didn't he? Ji Bochang's intimate actions made Ji Yuqingshua, who had never experienced such things before, breathe a little more heavily. She was overwhelmed with confusion, shyness, and anxiety. Let me check your body, disciple, and see where you're hurt. Ji Bochang maintained a concerned look as he began to remove her shoes. At this point, Ji Yuqingshua finally realized his true intentions. But she didn't seem to resist. In fact, she felt a little expectant. After all, compared to Elder Five, that fat and middle-aged man, Ji Bochang was far more handsome and charismatic. Moreover, Ji Bochang had saved her from Elder Five. She had already fallen for him, completely enamored with this bad man. After checking her body, Ji Bochang smiled with a devilishly handsome grin. Disciple, you're not injured, but let me pass on some cultivation techniques to you. Heavenly Emperor's technique in operation. Heavenly Emperor's technique in operation. Heavenly Emperor's technique in operation. Host's cultivation increased significantly, from the 9th stage of body refining to the 5th stage of spirit fusion. Disciple Ji Yuqingshua's cultivation increased from the 1st stage of spirit fusion to the 2nd stage of spirit fusion. Unfortunately, this session of cultivation has not resulted in disciple Ji Yuqingshua becoming pregnant. Please continue, host, and benefit the future of the heavenly Xian continent. Ji Bochang lay on the silk-sheeted bed with a relaxed and content smile. It felt so good his cultivation had jumped straight to the 5th stage of spirit fusion. Let me check my personal status. Host, Ji Bochang. Age, 20. Appearance, godlike. Physique, heavenly demon wild body, heavenly emperor s yang body. Cultivation, 5th stage of spirit fusion. Offspring, 0. Disciple, Ji Bochang. Looking at his personal panel, Ji Bochang smiled with satisfaction. He then turned over, pulling his beloved disciple into his arms. Ji Bochang's face was flushed red as she drifted off to sleep, exhausted. Ji Bochang had chosen her as his first disciple not just because he wanted to rewrite her fate, but because she possessed the rare Xianyan body, an excellent dual cultivation physique. This was also why her character in the original story had walked down an irreversible path. But this time, Ji Bochang had intercepted her before things went too far. He had claimed her for himself while she was still in her pure, innocent, and charming years. Before she could become a public figure for all to see, he had already made her his own. Just thinking about it made Ji Bochang feel a rush of excitement. It was truly exhilarating to intercept someone's fate like this. By this time, Xiao Yang must have already become an outer disciple of the Heavenly Sword sect. He will rise rapidly in just 1 year. And I must kill him in the cradle before he has the chance to rise. Ji Bochang, while holding Ji Bochang's soft face in his hand, thought to himself. Xiao Yang was the protagonist of this book. 1 year from now, he would be torn apart by Xiao Yang. At that time, Xiao Yang would have no way to even deal with Ji Bochang's powerful father. But now, Ji Bochang felt no fear. On the contrary, he was excited. He felt like a god, fully aware of every opportunity, every critical moment, and every little glitch in the plot. He knew the characters, their personalities, and the twists in the story. Ji Bochang had everything clear in his mind. This was the benefit of being the original author. After organizing his thoughts, he looked at the time. It was still afternoon. So Ji Bochang continued to guide Ji Bochang in her cultivation. One session of cultivation stretched into the evening. Then the night passed, and the morning came. The sunset faded, and the first light of dawn rose. Only the word diligence could describe Ji Bochang. Diligence brings rewards, and this was absolutely true. Congratulations to their host, you have successfully made your disciple, Ji Bochang, pregnant. The host has made a great contribution to humanity's reproduction, and is rewarded with the following. Divine level sword art, vast god sword art. Divine sword, vast god sword. Mother pig's scent of madness 10. Divine escape rune 10. Curse rune 10. The disciple, Ji Bochang, has had her physique upgraded, from the Xianyan body to the Xianyan holy body. The disciple has received the Jade Maiden Xianyan art. The disciple has received the Emperor's fetal cultivation art. Once the child is born, their talent will surpass that of their host and possess the potential of an emperor. At that time, their host will receive even greater rewards. Host, Ji Bochang. Age, 20. Appearance, godlike. Physique, heavenly demon wild body, heavenly emperor's yang body divine level. Cultivation, 5th stage of spirit fusion 9th stage of spirit fusion. Cultivation technique, heavenly emperor's technique divine level. Skills, vast god sword art divine level. Items, vast god sword divine level, mother pig's scent of madness 10, divine escape rune 10, curse rune 10. Offspring, 0.5. Disciple, Ji Bochang. Female disciple, Ji Bochang. Age, 18. Appearance, beautiful. Physique, Xianyan body Xianyan holy body. Cultivation, 1st stage of spirit fusion 4th stage of spirit fusion. Cultivation technique, Jade Maiden Xianyan art. Fetal cultivation, Emperor's fetal cultivation art. The offspring is destined to become an emperor. Offspring, 0.5. After a night of hard work, Ji Bochang had successfully won. Ji Bochang, hearing their voices in his mind and looking at the panel before him, couldn't hide his joy. This was fantastic. With these new abilities and rewards, he was even more confident about dealing with Xiao Yang. The Emperor's fetal cultivation art. His offspring is destined to become an emperor? Har ha har ha. My child will possess the potential of an emperor. Ji Bochang felt ecstatic. In the entire Qinwu continent, there was only one empress, but his child was destined to become an emperor. The thought of one day seeing his son or daughter rise to emperor status, while he himself could retire in peace, filled Ji Bochang with unparalleled satisfaction. Others might rely on their parents. But Ji Bochang would rely on his children. Master Tilder, I feel some changes in my body, and suddenly there is so much new information in my mind. What is this? It's so amazing. Ji Yuqingshue's face was flushed. Compared to her innocent and delicate appearance from yesterday, there was now a mature charm on her face. Fetal cultivation art. And the jade maiden Xianyin art. Feeling the sudden influx of memories, Ji Yuqingshue's eyes trembled in surprise, looking at Ji Bochang with astonishment. It was already surprising enough that her cultivation had risen to the 4th stage of spirit fusion in less than a day. Now, new memories were flooding her mind. Qingxue, this is a gift from the heavens. Ji Bochang said with a gentle and handsome smile, holding her delicate, pale hand. He placed his other warm hand gently on her abdomen, rubbing it softly. You're pregnant. I'm pregnant. Upon hearing this, Ji Yuqingsue froze slightly, feeling both surprised and at a loss. Soon, a sense of fear and grievance filled her heart. She thought Ji Bochang was just playing with her and that he wouldn't take responsibility. Her heart sank with sadness and disappointment. Qingxue, I will take responsibility. You must protect and nurture the child you're carrying. This is the fruit of our union. Noticing the change in her expression, Ji Bochang immediately placed his warm hand on her soft cheek and spoke in a soft voice. Upon hearing this, Ji Yuqingsue was stunned. Her eyes trembled, and everything felt too sudden, leaving her feeling lost and afraid. But Ji Bochang's words warmed her heart. Really? Of course. I never go back on my word. Ji Yuqingshue's heart was a whirl of emotions, filled with confusion and strange thoughts. But after a moment's reflection, she realized that if she could truly bear Ji Bochang's child, even without any official recognition, her life would be secure and prosperous. Her mother had told her when she was younger never to reveal her true nature. Otherwise, she would become someone else's. She had been terrified when she heard that. But after her family's tragedy, she was forced to embark on the path of seeking immortality. All right, master. Thank you. Ji Yuqingshue's eyes softened, and with a smile, she looked at Ji Bochang. Seeing this, Ji Bochang gently rubbed her head with his warm hand. He smiled back at her softly. Ji Bochang truly intended to take responsibility. It wasn't just because he needed Ji Yuqingsue to bear his child. If there were no feelings between people, and only a relationship based on mutual benefits, it would be too cold and tragic. Chapter 3, The Mighty Old Father, and the Forbidden Land Treasure Hunt. While the two were being affectionate with each other, a sudden, imposing aura emanated from outside the palace. Upon sensing this aura, Ji Bochang instantly regained his composure. Ji Yuqingsue, on the other hand, showed a hint of fear and anxiety on her face. Don't be afraid. Ji Bochang gave her a gentle smile and tucked her in. Then, he walked out of his private chamber and made his way toward the main hall of the palace. This aura was familiar to him. It could only belong to his incredible father. He probably found out about the absurd things Ji Bochang had done yesterday and had come to punish him. His father was incredibly powerful. In the original story, he was a top-tier figure in the entire Qianxian continent. At the peak of the Great Saint Realm level 9. Only one level beneath the Emperor realm. He was truly someone above millions, a person beneath whom no one stood. Only the Empress of the Central Continent's sacred mountain could hold his father back. But despite being so mighty, this powerful father met a tragic end in the original story. A year after Ji Bochang was killed by Xiaoyang, his father, Ji Shoqian, enraged and heartbroken, charged straight to the Qianjian sect. Ignoring the sect's formidable great formation and the resistance of its sect master, he unleashed his full power, the heavenly demon frenzied body, and nearly destroyed the entire Qianjian sect by himself. Ji Bochang still remembered how he felt when writing that scene. His blood boiling with excitement. Although he had written his character as rather wicked, this father of his was undoubtedly a towering hero. In the original story, Ji Shoqian could easily be considered the top hero of the entire continent. But even so, Xiaoyang had remained unscathed. The Empress of the Sacred Mountain had intervened and stopped Ji Shoqian. And that was the end of it. Well, that's just the power of the protagonist's halo. He couldn't kill off the protagonist, could he? Later, Ji Shoqian had been forced to suppress his rage and murderous intent, and had to leave temporarily. But by then, the hatred had been planted. As the protagonist continued to grow stronger, Ji Bochang eventually died, filled with resentment. Ji Bochang still recalled how he had written his father's death in the original story. His father's last words were, our family will finally be reunited." Ji Bochang arrived at the main hall. And when he looked inside, he saw a towering figure standing in the center. Just by standing there, this person gave off an aura of unapproachability and dominance. Anyone who stood before him would tremble with fear. This person was Ji Bochang's father, the leader of the heavenly demon sect, the terrifying Ji Bochang, who struck fear into the hearts of everyone across the Qianxian continent. Ji Bochang stood there, expressionless, his face giving no sign of anger. However, Ji Bochang knew well, the more expressionless his father was, the more furious he was, the more disappointed he felt. But the moment Ji Bochang stepped in, Ji Bochang's expression subtly changed. A trace of surprise and astonishment crossed his face. Before he extended his divine sense to probe Ji Bochang, who was still in Ji Bochang's chamber, he quickly discovered that Ji Bochang's cultivation had reached an astounding 5th stage of spirit fusion, comparable to an outer sect disciple who had been in a sect for several years. It was clear that her breakthrough had just occurred, which meant that this was not her original level. This revelation made Ji Bochang even more astonished. But his eyes suddenly narrowed, and a look of disbelief appeared on his face. Then, he came back to his senses, and his gaze toward Ji Bochang became filled with unprecedented anger. Ji Bochang was slightly startled. He thought, could my father really be this angry? "Father, why are you here?" "Kneel." Ji Bochang hadn't even finished his sentence when his father's cold voice rang out, making him freeze in surprise. "Father, look, I've reached the 9th stage of spirit fusion. I told you to kneel." Ji Bochang was dumbfounded. As the original author, he didn't know why his father was suddenly so enraged. This can't be right. This was real anger. How did I raise such an ungrateful son? Ji Bochang's voice shook with fury as he pointed at Ji Bochang and yelled. His anger stemmed from discovering the aura of pregnancy around Ji Bochang. He couldn't tolerate his son so casually trampling on someone else's purity. Ji Bochang, although initially confused about his father's rage, knew that he couldn't let the situation escalate. If he were imprisoned or punished, it would be over for him. He had no time to waste. So, he began his performance, worthy of an Oscar. First, he froze, as if struck by his father's words. Then, his eyes trembled slightly, his voice choking. "Mother, why did you leave me? I miss you so much." Hearing his words, Ji Bochang was momentarily stunned. His angry expression slowly faded, replaced by sorrow and self-blame. This move worked like a charm. In the original story, Ji Bochang often used this trick, acting pitiful after doing something wrong. And his father would always soften, without fail. "I'll find a harmless fetal elixir and make an exception for her to become an inner disciple of the sect, with all the privileges that come with it, as a form of compensation," Ji Bochang said, a touch of sorrow on his face, his voice low and serious. Upon hearing this, Ji Bochang's expression suddenly froze. The fake look of sadness he had been putting on instantly faded away. So that's what made him angry. How could I not think of that sooner? Ji Bochang silently complained in his heart. As the original author, he hadn't expected that his father's anger stemmed from this. "Father, you're overthinking. I'll treat her well, and the child definitely cannot be removed." Ji Bochang responded passionately. This reaction, however, left his father stunned. Given Ji Bochang's usual behavior, wasn't he supposed to immediately try to placate him and beg for forgiveness after hearing such words? Why was he refusing so strongly instead? Ji Bochang's eyes narrowed, clearly surprised. "Are you sure?" "Of course. Father, I'm sincere about her." "HMPH, sincere? You've only known her for a day and you're already sincere." It was clear that Ji Bochang was a pure-hearted warrior. He couldn't stand these things. "Father, is it that fat pig who reported me? Don't you know how disgusting he is? She's doing this of her own free will. If you don't believe me, ask the other elders." If I hadn't saved her, she would have been tormented by that fat pig. Ji Bochang clicked his tongue. He was well aware of the outrageous behavior of Elder 5, but due to sect matters and other complicated reasons, he could only turn a blind eye. At most, he'd give a verbal warning. Ji Bochang then extended his divine sense to probe Ji Bochang, who was still in Ji Bochang's chamber. He noticed that, aside from being nervous, her face also held an expression of happiness. He was momentarily stunned, then sighed lightly. After giving Ji Bochang a warning glance, he said seriously, "You better keep your word. Otherwise, I'll break your legs." "Father, just wait. Time will prove everything," Ji Bochang said. After that, Ji Bochang didn't question why Ji Bochang's strength had suddenly skyrocketed, or how it had happened. He simply flew off. In mid-air, he relaxed his serious expression and smiled with satisfaction. He has finally grown up. After sending his father away, Ji Bochang's face turned cold. He immediately used his mind to summon a curse talisman awarded by the system. Then, he placed a curse of impotence on Elder 5. "Hey, fatty pig, let us see how you harass others in the future. Use successful. Someone is going to cry tonight." Remaining curse talismans 9. Afterward, he informed Ji Bochang before heading off to take care of something big. As the original author, it was as if he had a cheat code, possessing the perfect strategy. Not long after, he arrived outside the forbidden area of the Heavenly Demon Sect. "Young Sect Master, what is this about? Open the door. I need to go in for something." Ji Bochang's face was calm as he spoke. Young Sect Master, this might not be appropriate. If the Sect Master finds out. Stop talking nonsense. You don't want to keep your job, do you? Under Ji Bochang's oppressive demeanor, the gatekeeper reluctantly opened the door with a conflicted look on his face. "Young Sect Master, it's dangerous inside. Are you sure you want to go in alone?" Ji Bochang didn't respond. He walked into the forbidden area and immediately headed in one direction. There was a big treasure hidden in this forbidden area. And even his father didn't know about it. In the end, it was the protagonist Xiao Yang from their Biyang who took advantage of it. TSK. After being transported to this world, Ji Bochang became increasingly displeased with the protagonist he had created. Looking back, many readers had also disliked this protagonist. He thought about the reason. It was probably because he had focused too much on the plot's logical coherence, causing the protagonist to be broken. At the time, he hadn't felt it. It was because the story was told from the protagonist's perspective. But now, in his current identity as the villain, he felt an increasing resentment toward the protagonist from beyond, just like those readers. If he had to sum up the reason for his dislike, the core of it came down to 2 words: hypocrisy. Before long, Ji Bochang arrived at the base of a small hill. He carefully searched around the foot of the hill. Finally, after a quarter of an hour, he found a small, round, dark green bead hidden in the weeds. It was smooth and round, covered in dirt, and emitted no aura, looking like an ordinary glass bead. But Ji Bochang knew very well that this was no ordinary bead. This was a treasure. As the name implied, it truly was a big treasure. It was the most precious item in his entire book. It was related to the plot he had yet to write. I wonder what the unwritten plot will look like in this world. Will it match what I imagined, or will it develop on its own? Ji Bochang couldn't help but think about this. He wiped the bead lovingly, reluctant to put it down. Forget it, I'll deal with the future when the time comes. First, let us get the little lady out of this bead. Chapter 4, Activation Failure. A cuckoo in the nest can still enter the hole, and the curse on Xiao Yang triggers acute appendicitis. Why, young sect master? Ji Bochang leisurely walked out of the forbidden area, and the gatekeeper, who had been anxiously waiting, finally let out a sigh of relief. After quickly returning to his residence, Ji Bochang immediately took out the small green bead. There was indeed a great treasure inside. In the original story, it was a huge benefit specially designed for Xiao Yang. It was tied to a plotline that Ji Bochang had not yet written. In the original story, Xiao Yang activated this bead with his strange fire. I wonder if my pure and Yang energy will work. Ji Bochang began to channel the Heavenly Emperor's technique. Immediately, a stream of pure, golden yarn energy poured out from his body. At this moment, Ji Bochang, who had been listening to the sounds outside, walked out from the chamber. Master, you're back. Millimeter Hum, come here, my dear disciple, let me show you a magic trick. Ji Bochang walked out of the chamber, a faint flush still on her face. Seeing Ji Bochang, a flood of intense emotion surged within her. Though she might never receive any formal title, she felt warmth in her heart. Magic trick. Ji Bochang approached, her curiosity lighting up her face. She was wearing a simple white dress and smelled delightful as she moved closer to Ji Bochang. It made him want to pull her into his arms and take a deep breath of her fragrance. If I pull a woman out of this thing later, will you get jealous? Ji Bochang smoothly pulled her into his embrace and made her sit on his lap as he asked her. Pull a woman out. Ji Bochang bit her lip lightly, her brows furrowing slightly as she showed a moment of confusion. But she quickly hid it away. I won't get jealous, master. She felt she had no right to be jealous. Even if Ji Bochang had another woman, it was only natural. She couldn't be too greedy. But even with that understanding, she didn't believe Ji Bochang could actually do such a miraculous thing. That's good. But remember, you are my first disciple, and you are also my first woman. I will cherish you, don't worry. Ji Bochang spoke softly. He wasn't sure if he could activate the bead. When he wrote it, he hadn't fully set up all the details. He only mentioned that Xiao Yarn used strange fire to activate it. But his pure yarn energy should be no less than Xiao Yarn's. At the same time, this could serve as a test. Would this world automatically fill in the details he hadn't written, or even change the plot? Millimeter. Hearing Ji Bochang's words, Ji Bochang gently nodded, warmth filling her heart. In the original story, she would later become a bad woman. But for now, she was pure, and could be properly trained. At that moment, the green bead began to undergo strange changes due to Ji Bochang's energy. Its surface started to heat up rapidly and began to draw Ji Bochang's energy into it. His tilde. Ji Bochang sucked in a breath, his heart unexpectedly pleased. It's working. If it's absorbing my energy, it means there's a chance. Let's go suck it all in, drain me dry. Ji Bochang thought to himself with excitement. However, he underestimated the greed of this treasure inside the bead. In the blink of an eye, it nearly drained him completely. His expression turned to shock as he quickly cut off the flow of his energy. Even so, the green bead stubbornly clung to his palm, unwilling to release its grip. It truly seemed intent on draining him dry. Damn it. Ji Bochang's heart raced as he quickly stored the green bead away. Master? Are you all right? Noticing the strange occurrence, Ji Bochang's face showed concern. I'm fine, just fine. Ji Bochang rubbed his forehead and forced a smile. It seemed that the treasure inside the bead needed to absorb enough energy before it could be released. He remembered that when Xiao Yarn activated it he was already quite strong, so it seemed he couldn't activate it in such a short time. Sigh, he thought, it's a bit of a waste. If he could activate the bead now and release the treasure inside, he felt like he could defeat Xiao Yarn immediately. Because this treasure had a very powerful ability. It could kill from a distance. Can itself generate rules? If so, this world may become more different from what I imagined. Right now, it's best not to make any moves against Xiao Yarn. After all, the protagonist's halo is real. I should focus on strengthening myself, while also finding a way to take his opportunities. Ji Bochang thought silently. Master, are you really okay? Ji Bochang's face was still filled with worry. I'm really fine. Ji Bochang snapped back to reality, smiling gently, then kissed her soft cheek. Immediately, Ji Bochang's face turned bright red. But now, wasn't she the one occupying the nest while unable to return home? Ji Bochang felt a bit troubled. Did this mean he had to practice alone now? Suddenly, Ji Bochang looked like she had something to say, hesitant to speak. Master, this morning, I suddenly received a cultivation technique. It's very strange, and my constitution has changed as well. It's become quite unique. Can I cultivate with you? Ji Bochang was stunned by her words. A cuckoo in the nest, but can still return home. Was this for real? System, is what he said true? Ji Bochang dared not act recklessly, fearing something might happen to his child. It's true, host. Her constitution has now been upgraded to the Shenyan sacred body, and with the Jade Maiden Shenyan art granted by this system, there is no problem. Alright, if you say so, I'm relieved. In that case, let us continue guiding my disciple's cultivation. So, after both of them hesitantly tried, they found that it was indeed possible to cultivate. Even occupying the nest was no problem. Another day passed. Ji Bochang's cultivation had reached the Ling Fan second level. His cultivation speed was indeed astonishing. Ji Yuqingshua's cultivation also improved to the Fusion Spirit 6th level. Lying on the bed, a mischievous smile spread across Ji Bochang's face. He took out a curse talisman. At this time, I remember it's the day of the Outer Sect Grand Competition of the Heavenly Sword Sect. Xiao Yang will surprise everyone and take first place in the competition with his cheat-like abilities. Let us curse Xiao Yang to suddenly suffer from acute appendicitis during an important match. Ji Bochang sneered, holding the curse talisman in his hand. Having had his appendix removed in his teenage years, he knew exactly how painful acute appendicitis could be when it struck. Curse successful. Meanwhile, at the Heavenly Sword Sect in Central Continent, as one of the top sects in the region, the Heavenly Sword Sect was surrounded by mountains, filled with rich spiritual energy, and its grand and magnificent architecture resonated with the sounds of disciples training. And today was the day of the Heavenly Sword Sect's Outer Sect Grand Competition. The disciple who took first place would not only win generous rewards but would also be allowed to bypass the usual requirements and directly join the inner sect, enjoying the privileges of an inner sect disciple. The Heavenly Sword Sect's martial arena was located at the central Great Martial Platform. 2 disciples stood on the platform, the atmosphere thick with tension. All the other platforms were empty, and disciples and sect members from the outer edges were focused on the central arena. Indeed, the final battle of the Outer Sect Grand Competition was happening right then. Xiao Yang, get off the platform now, and I'll spare your life. With your strength, do you even deserve to compete with me, Yuan Feng, for first place in the Outer Sect Grand Competition? Stop dreaming. A proud Outer Sect disciple mocked the disciple opposite him. The disciple facing him, however, had a firm expression, his eyes shining with unwavering resolve. He was Xiao Yang. He had an ordinary appearance, perhaps somewhat handsome in a plain way, with yellowish skin and non-mainstream long hair. If you want to fight, then fight, he said in a deep voice, his messy side bangs accentuating his rebellious aura. When Ji Bochang created Xiao Yang's character, he intentionally made him more ordinary, so readers could better relate to him. He even depicted Xiao Yang in more detail based on images in his mind. But Ji Bochang's writing skills were limited, so Xiao Yang turned out completely different from what he had envisioned. Other characters were only briefly described, like handsome and elegant, or charming and beautiful. While even those characters who were meant to be unremarkable seemed more natural than Xiao Yang. In short, there were no excessive descriptions, but the characters who fit typical compliments like beautiful or handsome automatically turned out that way in this world. Now, the final battle of the Outer Sect Grand Competition begins. With the judge's shout, the 2 on the stage surged forward like arrows, clashing fiercely. At this point, Xiao Yang had reached the Fusion Spirit 6th level, while his opponent, an Outer Sect disciple, was at the Fusion Spirit 9th level. Clearly, the plot was set for Xiao Yang to fight with everything he had, despite being at a lower cultivation level. The crowd was shocked. Xiao Yang can actually fight with Yuan Shixiang and not fall behind. Don't worry, Yuan Shixiang hasn't used his full power yet. The battle continued, both sides nearing the moment they would use their trump cards. But the trump cards Xiao Yang used were not his ultimate moves. They were just small cards. His opponent, however, called upon his greatest trump card. I admit you have some skill, but I'm afraid your opponent is me. Yuan Feng roared, releasing his ultimate move, his aura exploding. But at that moment, Xiao Yang also used his small trump card. Instantly, Yuan Feng was stunned, thinking, how is this possible? How can he release such powerful energy? But he couldn't back down now. R. With a furious shout, both of them surged toward each other, preparing for the final blow to determine the winner. The judges were nervous, their hearts shaken, as both fighters had exploded with strength comparable to Ling Fan level. However, at this moment, Xiao Yan suddenly felt an unbearable pain in his abdomen. Almost instantly, the spiritual energy he had gathered scattered in agony. His opponent, seeing this, felt a surge of joy and immediately seized the opportunity to strike a solid blow to Xiao Yang's chest. Poof! Xiao Yang was sent flying, pain etched across his face, disbelief in his eyes. He was sent tumbling out of the martial platform. Chapter 5 Brain Palsy Plot. The original body wrote love letters 99 times. No more writing. The winner of this outer sect competition is Yuan Feng. The referee was stunned for a moment, then immediately came back to his senses and shouted loudly. He thought Xiao Yang would win. Unexpectedly, Xiao Yang's big move suddenly withered halfway through. Someone immediately came forward to check Xiao Yang's injuries. He was seriously injured. My Yuan Feng is the #1 outer sect prodigy. The guy on the stage cheered excitedly, and also led the outer sect disciples watching the game to cheer. They said, how could Xiao Yang possibly defeat senior brother Yuan? Then someone from the sect healed Xiao Yang's injuries. But after his injuries were almost healed, Xiao Yang still had an extremely painful expression. He curled up and covered his abdomen with his hands. Xiao Yang, how are you? Why are you holding your abdomen? Isn't your injury in your chest? The sect member who was responsible for healing him asked with a puzzled look on his face. Xiao Yang's face was distorted with pain, and he could hardly speak. Only those who have truly experienced the pain of acute appendicitis know how he feels at this moment. Get out of the way, let me take a look. At this time, an outer sect elder who was somewhat fond of Xiao Yang stepped forward and said. Then he urged his spiritual energy to check Xiao Yang. What is this? Intestinal abscess. The outer sect elder's face was filled with surprise. Immediately knew why Xiao Yang suddenly lost his temper at the critical moment. It turns out that the worm has suddenly developed a serious disease. The outer sect elder said in his heart, feeling a little sorry for Xiao Yang. Then he urged his own spiritual energy and began to heal Xiao Yang. Unexpectedly, as his spiritual energy flowed in, Xiao Yang screamed even more miserably. The blood vessels on his face burst, his face flushed, and he was about to faint from the pain. This. Why is this? The outer sect elder immediately stopped, his face full of astonishment. Then he immediately took Xiao Yang and flew in one direction. After a while, they arrived at the residence of an elder who was good at medicine. Quickly see what's going on. This boy is extraordinary. We can't let him get into trouble. It can only be said that he is a man with the aura of the protagonist. Even if something unexpected happens, someone will immediately help. In the original work, Xiao Yang was able to develop in the early stage by building a good relationship with this elder. Intestinal abscess. How long has it been going on? Why is it so serious? Looking at the pale Xiao Yang, the elder asked in confusion. Not long. Did you give him spiritual energy? Yes, what happened? Alas Tilda, this sudden intestinal abscess cannot be stimulated by spiritual energy. You are in trouble now. You could have helped this boy heal his worm protrusions, but now you can only remove them immediately. It would be fine if there were high-grade healing pills, but if I look for them now, I'm afraid it's too late. Is it? I killed him. This boy has lost his worm protrusions. I'm afraid he will never enter the realm of the king in this life. Although the worm protrusions are not very useful from the perspective of human body structure, they are an indispensable part of entering the realm of the king. Hearing the conversation between the two, Xiao Yang was dumbfounded. The light in his eyes was gone. Inexplicably, I will never be able to enter the realm of the king? But I still have to find my mother. No. Don't. Xiao Yang was stunned and said in a hoarse voice. No. Boy, you will die if you continue like this. Cut it off immediately. Demon sect. It is the end of the world. Ji Bochang didn't know that because of his little curse. Xiao Yang was howling like a pig being slaughtered. There is no way, if a man does not work for himself, he will be punished by heaven and earth. Ji Bochang will not show any mercy. Ji Bochang was sitting in the main hall. Suddenly, he received a message from a communication talisman. Boss, are you still sending love letters to Saint Munan this month? After hearing their voice, Ji Bochang was slightly startled. Send love letters. What love letters? Oh. Damn, I almost forgot. This is a stupid plot I set up. In order to make my character have friction with Xiao Yarn, I set up a stupid plot. The friction between him and Xiao Yarn later was because of the Saint Mu Nan of the Heaven Sword sect. It is more accurate to say that he kept finding faults. In the original novel, he learned that a wild boy suddenly appeared beside Mu Nan. He was very angry and wanted to cut off the wild boy's legs. Then, the plot unfolded, the brainless villain was looking for trouble, and then the protagonist pretended to be cool and slapped in the face. It was a brainless and refreshing novel. Those who understand it will understand. TSK tilde Mu Nan. Ji Bochang whispered to himself. He liked the female character Mu Nan very much. She could be regarded as the first female protagonist of this book. The character is a cold beauty, devoted to Taoism, not asking about worldly affairs, and not being trapped by the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Later, she had feelings for the male protagonist without knowing it. Mu Nan doesn't like licking dogs. Ji Bochang pinched his chin, looking like he knew everything. Mu Nan is a character I wrote myself. No one understands her better than me. You are a complete Mu Qianpi. The more you actively approach her and please her, the less interested she will be in you, and she may even dislike you. On the contrary, the more you behave differently from others, the more calm and relaxed you are when facing her, the more interested she will be in you. Of course, the prerequisite is that you have the ability to be as good as hers, and you can't look too ugly. Ji Bochang summarized confidently, as if he was holding a guidebook in his hand. This is the advantage of being the original author. Even her hair is clear. Confession. If I remember correctly, I have sent her 99 confession letters in the past 2 years. I just got stuck at this number. I won't send it anymore, tilde. Ji Bochang muttered to himself with a playful look on his face. Then he took out the communication talisman and said to the younger brother. No need to see you off. I'm a married man now. After that, Ji Bochang smiled and walked towards the palace. Qingxue tilde your master is here to guide you in your cultivation again. At night, the full moon was high in the sky, casting silver light, and the ground seemed to be covered with a thin veil. The residence of the 5th elder. Why? This is impossible. How could this happen? The 5th elder looked at his powerless silkworm pupa with a face full of collapse and despair. He was already furious because Ji Bochang had taken away his prey. Now he found that his silkworm pupa was dead, and he collapsed and despaired even more. It was as if he had suffered the most painful blow in the world. Chapter 6 The strange and complicated feeling in Mu Nan's heart, the reverse sunk cost trap. No words were spoken that night. The next day, a disciple of the demon sect spread the news that a wild beast seemed to have entered somewhere in the sect and howled all night. After the young master took that beautiful junior sister back, there has been no news for 2 days. Alas, a person's fate is determined by birth. The young master has never practiced since he was a child. He has lived for 20 years. He is either free and easy or on the way to free and easy. I envy you so much. But if I were that junior sister, I would also choose the young master, not, ahum. Several outer disciples gathered under a tree, chatting boredly. Although the demon sect is a demon sect, it is not so cruel, and the disciples inside are not all fierce and cold-blooded. This is mainly because Ji Bochang's writing skills are not in place. When writing this brainless and refreshing article, he did not write out the flavor of the demon sect. By the way, why didn't the young master declare his love to the cold saint of Tianjian sect this month? Yes, yesterday was the first day of this month. Normally, the young master would spread the news on this day every month, and even deliberately find someone to spread the gossip, so that it would spread all over Zhongzhou, just to win the heart of the saint. I don't know, didn't the young master make the 99th confession a few days ago? He said that there would be a most vigorous and affectionate confession on the first day of this month. Maybe the young master has a bigger move. Tianjian sect, the residence of the saint. As the only saint of Tianjian sect, Mu Nan has extraordinary talent for cultivation and swordsmanship. Since she was a child, she was discovered by the leader of Tianjian sect, who appointed her as the saint of Tianjian sect and trained her personally. The residence of the saint is very simple and unpretentious. At first glance, it is hard to believe that this is the residence of the saint. In the small courtyard, the sparse chirping of birds was very pleasant. A woman in a plain white robe sat in the courtyard, staring blankly. She was the saint of the heavenly sword sect, Munan. Not only was she gifted, but she was also extremely beautiful. She had natural skin, an oval face, phoenix eyes, a small upturned nose, and petal lips. Her whole flawless and delicate face exuded a cold temperament. She was like a fairy who was not in touch with the world. It stands to reason that this should be her time to practice sword. But for some reason, she sat in the pavilion, looking thoughtful. When she was practicing sword this morning, she found that there seemed to be some problems with her state and she couldn't concentrate. So she simply stopped practicing and sat here to think about what was going on. She didn't want anything to stop her from focusing on practicing sword. So she had to sit here to think it out and then get rid of it. But after thinking about it, she couldn't think of anything that had been bothering her recently. Suddenly, her expression froze slightly, as if she thought of something. But then she came back to her senses immediately, frowned slightly and shook her head. Ji Bochang relied on his status as the young master of the Qianmore sect to be particularly arrogant and domineering. So even if Munan was slandered and harassed, he had no way to deal with him. The Qianjian sect master was helpless about this. The Qianmore sect and Qianjian sect are both the top sects in Zhongzhou. The relationship between them is also quite tense, and it can't be easily dealt with. Besides, this is a matter between young people, and as an elder, he has no way to intervene. At most, he can use some connections and means to check and balance Ji Bochang, so that he can't spread rumors wantonly. But Ji Bochang can always find a way to spread rumors, and always find a way to send love letters to Munan. But Munan didn't take him seriously at all, and was not affected by these things in the slightest. She also took the initiative to tell her master, the leader of the Qianjian sect, not to worry about it, and she would just treat it as a way to hone her character. So the leader of the Qianjian sect did not care about it anymore. Afterwards, it was just as Munan thought, this incident did not affect her at all, but helped her hone her character. Just like that, the first time, the second time, until the 99th time. Munan felt that it had no effect on her at all. But it was the 100th time. Yesterday, Ji Bochang did not send her a love letter as he did before. This made her feel strange and complicated. The first time she realized this feeling, she shook her head and frowned. But she knew in her heart that the reason why she could not concentrate on practicing sword this morning was because of this incident. Why? She was puzzled. Is her character so weak? She actually had problems because of this playboy? However, this is a very normal thing. It is a simple psychological mechanism. The reason why she had such a strange and complicated feeling in her heart was 100% not because she had a ripple in her heart or was moved. 100%. Ji Bochang had a bad reputation to begin with, and he used shameless means to spread rumors about her and constantly pestered her. It was impossible for her to like Ji Bochang or be moved by him because of these 99 love letters. The reason why she had such a strange and complicated psychology was because of a simple psychological mechanism. This psychological mechanism is called the reverse silence cost psychology. First of all, the silence cost refers to the expenditure that has been paid in the past and cannot be recovered. It can be corresponded to the 99 love letters paid by Ji Bochang. And this silence cost is also mixed with time cost. But this has nothing to do with Munan, these costs are not paid by her. But why did she have a strange and complicated feeling? That is because of the reverse silence cost. The reverse silence cost refers to the invisible cost given by the payee invisibly. People who fall into the trap of silent cost will continue to pay in order to achieve their goals and to justify their previous efforts. However, the moment the pair breaks the sunk cost trap, the passive role will be replaced immediately. Become the payee. That is, Munan, who is given the reverse silent cost invisibly. Of course, it is relatively easier for the payee to break the reverse sunk cost trap than for the pair to break the sunk cost trap. With time, it will be forgotten slowly. What's more, the efforts Ji Bochang made were not heartwarming and memorable, but annoying. So Munan is just slightly trapped in the reverse silent cost trap now, which is why she is like this. However, with her temperament, she can completely erase this strange and complicated feeling in a few days at most. But this is just the beginning. It's just the appetizer Ji Bochang sent her. As a person who knows her well, Ji Bochang is 100% sure that she will take off her clothes and stand in front of him. Chapter 7 Good Men Get Rewards, focusing on loving their wives. In the demon sect, Ji Bochang held Ji Yuqingshue's fair and delicate little hand and took a walk in the beautiful scenery of the sect. The two walked on the pebble road, like a pair of immortal lovers. This place is only for inner disciples. The scenery is very beautiful, with green mountains and green waters, pleasing to the eyes and soothing to the heart. Ji Yuqingshue looked at the clear lake, and her charming face was full of happy smiles. In the past few days, she has experienced a happy experience she has never had before. Considerate care, tender sweet words, delicious spiritual food, and extravagant and licentious. Ji Bochang made her experience firsthand what it feels like to be a little princess. Being Ji Bochang's little princess only eats, not suffers. Although this delicate relationship has not been officially confirmed to be a further relationship, Ji Yuqingshue already feels very happy and satisfied in her heart. Even if Ji Bochang gets together with another woman or marries another woman in the future, as long as he doesn't abandon her, she won't blame Ji Bochang. Even as long as he can give her the most basic security, she won't be loath to do so. She has such thoughts simply because her past was too difficult, and she cherishes the days when she can eat and wear warm clothes. Qingshue, what name should we give our child when he is born? Ji Bochang took Ji Yuqingshue's little hand, sat on a long wooden chair, hugged her shoulders, and asked softly. His fingers gently rolled up her soft black hair. Hearing this question, Ji Yuqingshue was slightly startled, and then looked at Ji Bochang, with a face of obedience. Listen to master. Okay, then, let me think about it. Well, if it's a boy, let's call him Jiteng. Jiteng. Hearing this, Ji Yuqingshue seemed to think that this name was a bit unpleasant. Yes, this name has the appearance of a great emperor. The appearance of a great emperor. Will our child be able to enter the realm of emperor in the future? Ji Yuqingshue's beautiful eyes blinked faster, fluttering, a little silly and surprised. Yes, if it's a daughter, well, think of one, Qingshue. Ji Bochang smiled lightly. Then, let's call it Ji Zhaodi. Ji Yuqingshue said stupidly, and didn't seem to think there was anything wrong with what she said. Ji Bochang had a black question mark on his face. He didn't expect her to be so feudal. Silly, why do you have to call me Zhaodi? Girls are so cute. I just want a girl. But, master, didn't you say that boys have the appearance of a great emperor? Seeing her serious look, Ji Bochang couldn't help but sneer. Girls also have the qualities of an emperor. My children, Ji Bochang, must all have the qualities of an emperor. As my woman, you also have the qualities of an emperor. In the future, you will become an empress who is second only to one man and above all others. Ji Bochang looked at him and said confidently. Hearing this, Ji Yuqingshue's beautiful eyes could not help but tremble slightly, her eyes filled with longing and yearning. Do I have the qualities of an emperor now? Yes. She smiled sweetly, making the surrounding flowers, grass, and mountains pale in comparison. Ji Bochang was also slightly fascinated by her smile. It was detected that the host made the pregnant disciple Ji Yuqingshue feel particularly happy. When the mother is in a good mood, the child can grow better. Specially reward the host with a divine body technique, the mysterious step technique. The mysterious step technique is the most powerful body technique in the 9 heavens and 10,000 worlds. It can do everything from heaven to earth. As the realm is improved, the more moves that can be performed, the more awesome they are. The sudden sound in his mind brought Ji Bochang back to his senses. What the hell? This is also possible? You can get rewards by making Baomar happy. This is too positive energy. Everyone, please type positive energy on the public screen. Ji Bochang was extremely happy. As a perfect good man, he would certainly do the most basic thing of making Baomar happy. The main point is to love his wife. Then, if it's a girl, let's call her Ji Xiaowan, right? Master Tilder. Ji Yuqingshue put away her smile, and at the same time, the restraint in her heart also dissipated a lot, and she said naturally. Okay. Then Ji Yuqingshue leaned her forehead on Ji Bochang's shoulder, and the two of them just looked at the lake quietly, compatible with the surrounding scenery, forming the most beautiful picture. Looking at the shimmering lake, Ji Bochang also felt some happiness and enjoyment in his heart. No need to work from 9 to 5, no need to stay up late to work overtime, no need to socialize and accompany drinking, no need to work hard, no need to write hard. This kind of life is really great. Xiao Yang, now only you can become the factor that destroys all my beautiful things. I created you with my own hands, so I will get rid of you with my own hands. This beautiful world belongs to me. Ji Bochang's eyes were full of ambition and passion, and he was more determined in his mind. Then he began to think about what would happen in the next timeline and how to intercept it. 1 month later, at the intersection of Zhongzhou and Beiju, in the monster forest, Xiao Yang, who went to the monster forest to do a sect mission, would be separated from his sect companions because of a sudden accident, and then meet the beautiful palace master of the Bingxian Palace, the top power in Beiju. The two fell into an ancient ruins together, experienced hardships and obstacles, obtained opportunities, and developed an unclear relationship. Ji Bochang sorted out his thoughts in his mind, and clearly understood what he was going to do next. He was going to intercept the cold and arrogant beautiful palace master. Ji Bochang was determined. The palace master of Bingxian Palace was of great help to Xiao Yang, and this ancient ruins also greatly improved Xiao Yang. He must not let Xiao Yang get the opportunity inside, and he must not let him get together with the palace master of Bingxian Palace. He wanted to steal the love and take everything that should belong to Xiao Yang for himself. Xiao Yang, what are you going to play with me? Ji Bochang felt that he was omnipotent at this moment, and his heart was full of passion. In this month, I will improve myself and make full preparations for the love stealing in a month. Qingxue, let's go back. Ji Bochang came back to his senses, buried his head in Ji Qingxue's arms, looked up at her, and said softly. Ji Qingxue pursed her lips and smiled softly, and subconsciously rubbed his hair. Tilde. On their way back, Ji Bochang held Ji Qingxue horizontally in his arms and tried the body skills rewarded by the system. Currently, he has only unlocked the first move. Follow the shadow and move. The first move of the mysterious footwork, follow the shadow and move. Greatly increase the movement speed, and will leave an afterimage. It is a very practical move. Ji Qingxue was surprised, and felt that Ji Bochang was particularly magical, especially making her unable to see through. At the same time, it also made her more inseparable and unable to extricate herself from love. Chapter 8. Find the old father to explode gold coins, go to the first Xiancheng in Zhongzhou, and look for the second female apprentice. A day passed. Host, Ji Bochang. Age, 20 years old. Appearance, handsome. Physique, devil's body, Emperor Yang body god level. Realm, 2nd level of Lingfan realm, 3rd level of Lingfan realm. Kung Fu, Emperor Kung Fu god level. Moves, Kangmang divine sword technique god level. Items, Kangmang divine sword god level, Sows will go crazy even if they smell it 10, divine travel talisman 10, curse talisman 8. Offspring, 0.5. Disciple, Ji Qingxue. Ji Bochang's cultivation level has been raised to the 3rd level of Lingfan realm. Ji Qingxue's cultivation level has been raised to the 7th level of Rongling realm. At this time, the sun was setting in the west. Ji Bochang packed up and went down the mountain to the main peak of his old father. What was he going there for? Going to find the old guy to get gold coins. I had something important to do and no time to waste. This world is not just the Qianxian continent, nor is it just the Emperor realm in the Zhongzhou holy mountain of the Qianxian continent. As the plot continues to unfold, the unique Emperor realm will become as numerous as dogs in the end. And Ji Bochang just happened to write a very critical plot and crossed over. That plot determines how high the difficulty limit of this world is. He only gave a general setting before, such as the 9 heavens and 10,000 worlds, and did not clearly give a huge world view. So he didn't know how terrifying it would be if the 9 heavens and 10,000 worlds were allowed to develop on their own. The last part he wrote was already a conflict between realms. Xiao Yang fought against the Emperor realm with the help of the Great Saint realm. Then he crossed over. Come to the Sect Master Peak. Ji Bochang walked up the mountain leisurely as if he had returned to his own home. When we came to the mountain, we saw the magnificent palace. In the hall, the old father Ji Shotian was looking at the portrait of his wife, lost in thought, with a sad and nostalgic face. Suddenly, he sensed Ji Bochang's breath, and immediately came back to his senses and put the portrait away. Then his face was surprised again. I didn't expect Ji Bochang to break through again. The surprise turned into relief and joy. How could my son Ji Shotian be mediocre? Ji Bochang walked outside the hall and looked inside, and saw his old father sitting in the outer hall. Immediately, he showed a playful expression on his face and walked towards his old father. Dad, he tilde. What wind brought you here? Although he was proud in his heart, the old father still pretended to be strict. Are you short of money? Hearing this, Ji Bochang's mouth twitched and he almost fell down. It's true that no one knows his son better than his father. Oh. Dad, I missed you, so I came to see you. TSK, you missed me. You fart, I know what shit you're going to pull. Tell me, how much do you want? Ji Bochang sneered, looking like a father who knows his son better than his father. Har 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 tilde dad, what you said is true. 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. Ji Bochang saw this and stopped pretending, and spoke loudly. How much? Hearing this, Ji Bochang's old eyes suddenly widened, and he looked at him in disbelief. He almost pulled out his gilded python belt out of habit. Dad, I'm really useful, believe me, I've completely awakened now, and I'm no longer the ignorant kid I used to be. I'm a family man now, Dad. Ji Bochang said with a serious face, he really needed this money. Seeing him like this, Ji Bochang felt painful and hesitated. These 10,000 top-grade spirit stones are not a small amount, it can be said to be a huge amount. The economy he can mobilize is only more than 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. One top-grade spirit stone is equivalent to 100 upper-grade spirit stones, equivalent to 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones, and equivalent to 1 million lower-grade spirit stones. 10,000 top-grade spirit stones are equivalent to 10 billion lower-grade spirit stones. What is this kid going to do? Is he going to buy the entire Baihua building? Dad, you believe me, don't you believe it, your son? Give me these 10,000 top-grade spirit stones, and I will return you 10 times the interest in a month. Ji Bochang said excitedly with a serious face, as if it were true. It made the old father hesitate. After a few breaths, his face was full of pain, and his old eyes were full of complex colors, as if he had made some decision. Okay, if you can't return me 10 times the interest, I'll break your legs. Dad, you are really my father. Ji Bochang was excited and hugged his old father directly. At night, Ji Bochang's pockets were bulging, and he left the sect master's peak with satisfaction. Now he is really rich enough to rival a country. Rich second generation is so cool. Ji Bochang was a hard-working coder in his previous life, and he can be said to have experienced the happiness of rich second generation in this life. After going home and spending a warm night with Ji Yuqingxue. The next day, Ji Bochang left the Qianmore sect. With the help of his personal guardian, he went to Chenyuan City, the first Xianchang in Zhongzhou. Young sect master, are you going to Baihua Tower this time? The guardian is a middle-aged man with a cultivation level of the first level of the Lesser Saint realm. This kind of cultivation level is already a respectable existence in a slightly remote place in Qianxian continent. But here, it is only Ji Bochang's personal guardian. Baihua Tower? His tilde. The word Baihua Tower once again flooded into Ji Bochang's ears, making him imagine. Baihua Tower is naturally a place he wrote about, a place that all men like to go. At this moment, for some reason, he had a desire to go and take a look. Perhaps it was the nature of a man, or perhaps it was simply a desire to see the world he had written with his own hands. Okay, but go to Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce first. Let's do business first. Okay, young master. The guardian naturally didn't think Ji Bochang would do anything serious, and said perfunctorily on the surface. Chenyuan City, as the largest Xiancheng in Zhongzhou, is a place where immortal cultivators gather and various chambers of commerce gather. The streets are full of people at all times, so lively. Here sits the city lord's mansion, 2 major families, major chambers of commerce, and the Alchemist Association, the Equipment Refiner Association, the Talisman Refiner Association and other forces, as well as various recreational places similar to the Baihua building. The Heavenly Demon sect also has industries here, but the business is not particularly good, relatively deserted, and has not occupied a good market. On the contrary, the Heavenly Sword sect's industries here are well managed, and are managed by the inner disciples of the sect. Wait a minute, does our Heavenly Demon sect also have some industries here? With the help of the Guardian, Ji Bochang can already see the vast and huge Xiancheng in the distance, and a touch of shock can't help but well up in his eyes. Seeing it with his own eyes, it's still a little too handsome and cool. Is this the place I described? Well, I just described it simply. It's so good, and it's all derived from this world itself. Yes, young sect master. What are you going to do? Hearing Ji Bochang's question, the guardian couldn't help but show a hint of vigilance on his face. Chapter 9. Preparing to take control of the beautiful Chamber of Commerce. President, the sex industry is not doing well. I, Ji Bochang, will take action. Let's go to our industry first, not to the Nanfong Chamber of Commerce. R. Hearing Ji Bochang's words, the Dharma protector's heart sank. What should I do? If the young master causes trouble, I will be scolded again. What are you talking about? Ji Bochang's face showed a trace of displeasure. No. I'll go right away. The Dharma protector looked miserable and did not dare to dissuade him. The best industry of the heavenly demon sect here is the heavenly demon hall. It is an industry that charges money to do things. That is, employment. In the past few years, the business was not bad. If there was anything, just find the heavenly demon hall. Just 2 words, it works. Simple and crude. But in recent years, due to some bad cases and the deliberate interference of some forces, the reputation of the heavenly demon hall has become worse and worse, and no one dares to come here to hire. Because once a murder or a major case occurs, the city lord's mansion will take action and arrest the person who initiated the hiring. If it weren't for the fact that the heavenly demon hall was backed by the heavenly demon sect and had a strong backing, it would have been closed down hundreds of times. But even with the heavenly demon sect, it has not dared to be too ostentatious in recent years. Because the reputation of the heavenly demon sect has also deteriorated in recent years, and there was even a trend of being isolated by other major forces. Naturally, these affiliated industries cannot be reckless and extravagant. But a lean camel is bigger than a horse. The heavenly demon sect is still the heavenly demon sect, the top sect in Zhongzhou. Even if the business location is particularly poor, the heavenly demon hall occupies the best central area of Qianyuan City. Qianyuan City prohibits flying, but Ji Bochang is used to being arrogant. The guardian took him directly to fly in the sky, and the city guards in the sky were used to it, and had no intention of stopping him at all. Looking at the majestic buildings below, Ji Bochang felt particularly magical and fresh. Arriving at the center, the guardian took Ji Bochang and slowly descended. The wide streets were crowded. But when they saw who was slowly descending from the sky, they all showed panic and fear, and hid everywhere. Especially those wealthy families who took their daughters out shopping, immediately took their daughters away, fearing that they would be favored by this dude. Seeing that everyone gave him such a special welcome, Ji Bochang couldn't help but twitch his mouth. After landing, Ji Bochang looked up and saw a building made of black bricks in front of him. There were 3 big characters on the plaque at the door. Demon Hall. It was cold and deserted, with no one. It formed a sharp contrast with some of the surrounding buildings. TSK tilde alas, it looks like I have to take action again. The old man exploded the gold coins. Of course I should give a little return. Ji Bochang has an extraordinary temperament, a noble face, and walked forward with his chin slightly raised. The guardian behind him almost fell down after hearing his words. My ancestor, please don't do anything. If you don't do anything, the heavenly demon hall can still operate. If you do something, it will be finished. Also, the old thing you mentioned, you don't mean the master of the sect, right? The guardian complained in his heart. After Ji Bochang walked into the heavenly demon hall, the pedestrians on the road breathed a sigh of relief. Ji Bochang is the number 1 playboy in Zhongzhou. Other playboys are all little Karami in front of him. The real playboy second generation, behind him is a powerful person of the 9th level of the Great Saint realm. The building next to the heavenly demon hall is the heavenly sword hall of the heavenly sword sect. Like the heavenly demon hall, it is an industry that accepts hired tasks. If it is traced back hundreds of years ago, it can still be known which side copied which side, but now it is unknown. A few years ago, the heavenly demon hall was booming, while the heavenly sword hall was deserted. In recent years, the two have reversed. The heavenly demon hall was deserted, while the heavenly sword hall became popular. Why this happened is naturally based on many factors, and it is also closely related to the operation behind the heavenly sword sect. But if it were just that, the heavenly sword sect would naturally not be able to directly suppress the heavenly demon sect. The biggest core factor behind these two reversals is the Empress on the holy mountain of Zhongzhou. A few years ago, the Empress started, well, to use Ji Bochang's modern words that are easy to understand, it is a campaign to eliminate gangsters and eliminate evil. Yes, at that time, the Heavenly Demon Hall was indeed a little too unscrupulous and too rampant. So it was used as a target. The City Lord's mansion of Chenyuan City also immediately formulated a lot of new rules since then. No one dared to neglect the Empress's words. Even Ji Bochang's father didn't dare. Young sect master, why are you here? The sect staff in charge of managing the Heavenly Demon Hall had completely given up, leaning back in a leisurely manner. But when he saw who was walking in from the door, he immediately stood up and bent down as if he had seen a ghost. TSK tilde. Looking at the environment and atmosphere inside, Ji Bochang TSK lightly and shook his head. At first glance, it really had the flavor of an inspection by the superiors. It made the guardians feel weird. My father gave this place to you to manage, and you manage it like this. Come on, feel if the dust on this table can bury you. Ji Bochang grabbed the manager's hair, pressed his face on the table, and rubbed it repeatedly. Oh, cough, cough. The manager's face was covered with dust and he kept coughing. Then he knelt in front of Ji Bochang with a look of panic and astonishment. Young master, yes, it was my negligence, but I absolutely worked diligently and did not neglect my duties, young master. The steward was very distressed. It was not his fault that the business here could not be run well. Okay, hurry up, clean this place for me. Ji Bochang sat on the recliner with a look of disgust. Tell me, what is the main reason for the poor management here? Lying on the recliner, Ji Bochang looked very capable and asked confidently. Hearing this, the steward's expression stagnated slightly, and he couldn't help but complain in his heart, thinking that you are playboy, and you are pretending. But he didn't dare to show any disrespect on the surface, and immediately spoke to Ji Bochang respectfully. After listening, Ji Bochang looked thoughtful and nodded gently. Is that so? I did set the personality of this empress to be the kind of personality for the people. He really didn't know about this plot. It was also derived from this world. It was a reasonable plot. It was swept away by gangs and evil, tilde. Ji Bochang thought about his doubts and said confidently. Since we were able to dominate the market before, we naturally had our advantages. Now that our advantages are restricted and can't be used, why not use them in another way? A mere Chenyuan Hall? I, Ji Bochang, can destroy it in a snap of my fingers. Ji Bochang said confidently. The guardian and the manager of Chenyuan Hall were slightly stunned. They actually felt that what the young master said was quite true. Chapter 10 Go to Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce to spend crazily and control the beautiful president. Call out all the disciples and sect members stationed here. Ji Bochang said confidently, as if he had thought of a way to get this place back in business. It's the young master. After a while, twos and threes of people came out with a look of trepidation. They were all unruly. If you didn't know, you would think this was a nursing home. A group of people stood in front of Ji Bochang, bowing their heads and bending over, with a look of trepidation. They wondered what this playboy young master was doing here. They were quite happy living here. Replace all these people for me, and go to the sect to recruit fresh blood. Ji Bochang said in a deep voice with a black line on his head. Hearing this, everyone's pupils shrank slightly, and there were 10,000 resistances in their hearts. They were all old-timers, and they could get a lot of salary for living here. How could they accept that they were being driven away now? But they had to accept it. After all, the person in front of them was the young master of the Chenmore sect. Yes, sir. The steward said humbly and obediently. Then he said coldly to the people behind him, all of you go back. Suddenly, Ji Bochang found a person who seemed a little different in the crowd, and his expression changed slightly. This person looked younger and more energetic than others. When he heard that he could go, he immediately showed a happy expression, which formed a sharp contrast with others. That person, you stay, the others can go. Suddenly, Ji Bochang said. The young man who was called froze his happy expression immediately after hearing the words. He had just been arranged here not long ago. He was a disciple stationed here for a one-year sect mission. He came here with the purpose of working hard to earn spirit stones, but after coming here, he found that this place was dead. There was no traffic at all. Without traffic, there would naturally be no extra rewards. He was also desperate about this. He wanted to cancel the mission but couldn't. Now he could finally go, but why was he called again? He wanted to cry, but but he didn't dare to cry. "Young master, what do you want me to do?" he said to Ji Bochang with a nervous look, forcing a smile. "What's your name?" "My name is Wang Qin." "Yes, you should stay here. We need energetic young people like you here." "Are what? You don't want to?" "No, no, I do." Ji Bochang smiled knowingly and looked at the manager. "I'll give you 5 days to go to the sect and recruit all the people. If you recruit a group of dying people, you know the consequences." Yes, young master." After that, Ji Bochang stood up and walked out. Recruit good people within 5 days and complete the training within 10 days. When he reached the door, Ji Bochang paused again, turned his head and continued. "The work style after training should be firm but gentle, gentle but firm, did you hear clearly? Also, tell them the reward and punishment mechanism clearly. If they do well, there will be extra rewards, but if there are any problems or troubles, there will be corresponding punishments. I will come again in 10 days, and I will do it then." The housekeeper and Wang Qin were stunned and nodded repeatedly. Wang Qin also had a slightly changed view of the young master. "I thought, could it be that the young master really wanted to revive the sex industry?" The Dharma protector was the same, and followed Ji Bochang with a surprised look on his face. Ji Bochang walked out of the heavenly demon hall. The people outside immediately looked like they had seen a ghost and dispersed. After walking out of the heavenly demon hall, Ji Bochang turned his head to look. Looking at the Chenjian Hall, which is about a few dozen meters away from the Qianmor Hall, a playful smile appeared in his eyes. "Just wait, in 10 days, I will make you bankrupt. Let's go to Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce." "Yes, young master." After Ji Bochang left. In the Chenjian Hall. "What is this damn second-generation playboy doing in the Qianmor Hall? Is he trying to revive the industry?" "Brother Liu, I don't know the details, but I know that someone heard him mumbling something when he walked out of the Qianmor Hall, saying that he would make our Chenjian Hall bankrupt in 10 days. The man sitting in the seat suddenly opened his eyes wide when he heard the words, and then clenched his teeth, revealing an angry look. "Just him? This abominable playboy has repeatedly harassed senior sister Mu and spread rumors. This person is a core disciple of the Chenjian sect, named Liu Yu, who is responsible for the management of the station here. In the original work, he is a minor role used to set off Xiao Yan. He has a crush on Mu Nan. And Ji Bochang keeps spreading rumors to destroy Mu Nan's reputation. So he has long hated Ji Bochang, but unfortunately he has no way to do anything. He can only keep it in his heart. The world today is not something that the Qianmor sect can do. I want to see what he can do in 10 days. After arriving at the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, immediately, a special person received Ji Bochang, and he did not dare to neglect him at all. In the VIP room of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, a receptionist stood in front of Ji Bochang with a nod and a bow. "Mr. Ji, what brings you here?" "I'm here to spend money at your Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce." Ji Bochang sat on the chair and smiled elegantly. Hearing this, the receptionist's eyes lit up immediately. "But I'm afraid you can't receive me. You can't afford the amount I want to spend today." Ji Bochang continued. Upon hearing this, the receptionist's smile froze immediately. Then he said with a look of discomfort, "Yes, Mr. Ji, I'll go find the steward right away." "Steward? I've heard that the branch president of your Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce stationed in Qianyuan City is a stunning beauty. Can you ask her to receive me?" The receptionist just took 2 steps and was stunned by Ji Bochang's words. "Ask their branch president to meet me in person. Isn't this dandy too arrogant? What? Do you think I don't have the capacity? Or is your branch president not here at the moment?" "No, I dare not. Mr. Ji is of noble status and cannot be compared with ordinary people, but our branch president." "Okay, stop talking. Today, I was planning to spend at least 10,000 top-grade spirit stones in Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Since your Chamber of Commerce doesn't like me, I will go somewhere else to spend money." Ji Bochang was neither angry nor annoyed. He stood up and was about to leave with a calm look. After hearing Ji Bochang's words, not only did the reception staff of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce show an extremely shocked expression, even Ji Bochang's guardian was about to pop his eyes out. If others said this, they might think the person who said this was ridiculous. But when these words came from Ji Bochang's mouth, they didn't think it was bragging at all. He might really do such a ridiculous thing. Chapter 11 Let your president come to receive me, Lian Xiaoyao, the branch president of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Master Ji. Master Ji, wait a minute, Master Ji, our branch president should be here right now, can I go and ask for you? Master Ji, wait a moment. When the receptionist saw Ji Bochang was about to leave, he immediately came to his senses and stepped forward to stop him with a flattering look on his face. Oh? Really? I thought I wasn't qualified to meet your branch president. It seems I was overthinking it. Then go ahead. Ji Bochang said calmly and sat back in his seat. The receptionist also immediately walked out quickly. The guardian still looked stunned. He felt like his young master had become a different person. Feeling, now giving people a very cunning feeling? Why is this? Could it be that the young master finally got it? Young master, you are trying to provoke him with words, right? The protector shook off the surprise on his face and forced a smile. No, I really want to spend a lot. Ji Bochang said calmly. The guardian's face suddenly changed, revealing a look of surprise. I was thinking, where do you get so much money? You're not going to ask me for money later, are you? What did you say? That playboy from the heavenly demon sect said he wanted me to receive him. The receptionist came to a luxurious room on the top floor, stood in front of a small bedroom blocked by a gauze curtain, and bowed. A lazy and slightly charming voice came from behind the gauze curtain. But if you listen carefully, you can hear a hint of contempt. Yes. Sir, he said he would spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. What did you say? Hearing this, the woman's tone suddenly changed. She looked a little surprised and a little ridiculous at the same time. But on second thought, this dissolute young master of the demon sect might really be able to do such a thing. Or in other words, I have the intention and means to make him do such a thing. The woman curled her lips and smiled, and said calmly, okay, I understand, you can leave, I will go there myself. Ji Bochang was not in a hurry at all. He had a calm and confident smile on his face, as if everything was under his control. He naturally knew who the branch president here was and what kind of woman she was. What kind of personality you have. After all, this is a female character he created himself. At the same time, in the original work, she is also considered an ambiguous object of the protagonist. Some foreshadowing was done for her identity, but it was not made clear. Later on, as I was writing, I forgot about her. I don't know if this world will evolve on its own. The reason why he looks so calm and confident. Because he knew very well what kind of woman this was. Scheming, dark, and has a bit of a bad taste. She's the kind that's very coquettish and slutty, but won't want to be fucked. Ji Bochang believed that after he said that he would spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones, this woman would definitely come. Sure enough, after a while, there was a sound of high heels stepping on the ground outside the door. The sound of da makes people feel itchy. There was also a hint of anticipation in Ji Bochang's eyes. I am looking forward to seeing what the female character I portrayed will look like in real life. The footsteps stopped at the door. Then the door was pushed open. What came into view was a tall woman with attractive curves and elegant demeanor. She was wearing a pair of crystal high heels, and her long white legs were exposed under the luxurious clothes. The seductive figure is enough to make any man lose his mind in a second. Look at the face. It is a charming and alluring face, with an oval face, delicate foxy eyes, a high and straight nose, and big, rosy and attractive lips. The arc at the corner of the lips arouses endless imagination. At this moment, she was staring straight into Ji Bochang's eyes, showing her full charm. Uncle Guo, please go out for a moment. I want to talk to this beautiful and mature elder sister alone. Looking at this woman, Ji Bochang's expression froze for a moment, but he immediately came back to his senses and smiled faintly at the guardian beside him. At the same time, I was amazed in my heart, believing that she was indeed a coquettish and charming female character created by me. Seeing it with my own eyes is really unbearable. Yes, young master. The guardian immediately came to his senses and walked outside. At the same time, a worry arose in his mind, wondering if the young master would be punished for his rude words or physical behavior. He roughly felt it and was unable to detect the woman's cultivation level, which meant that the cultivation level of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce branch president was even stronger than his. But he still went out obediently. I feel that this woman would not do anything to Ji Bochang. Master Ji, how are you? I heard that you specially asked me to receive you Tilder. After the Dharma protector went out, Lian Xiaoyao deliberately threw a coquettish glance at Ji Bochang, spoke in a charming voice, and slowly walked towards him. But there was always a faint aura emanating from his body, as if warning Ji Bochang. The charming and soothing voice made Ji Bochang's heart melt. I thought to myself, what a little devil. That's right, Sister President, I have long heard that you are a fairy-like figure, and today, seeing you, it is indeed true. Ji Bochang said leisurely without hiding the infatuated and longing look on his face. His eyes wandered over the woman in front of him without any hesitation. This caused Lian Xiaoyao's eyes to show a hint of coldness, but it was immediately dissipated by her. Master Ji is quite different from what was rumored. I am a little surprised. Oh? What's different? Mr. Ji's previous actions were just for show, right? Lian Xiaoyao noticed Ji Bochang's cultivation level of the third level of the spiritual and mortal realm, and smiled faintly, as if she had seen through Ji Bochang. Doing it for others to see. How can you say that? I, Ji Bochang, was born this way. How can I say that I am doing it for others to see? Ji Bochang also smiled faintly and looked at the woman in front of him. Har har tilde young Master Ji said so it must be. I heard that Master Ji wants to spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones at our Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Is this true? Lian Xiaoyao sat opposite Ji Bochang, with her legs slightly raised, and her right leg crossed over her left leg. She originally intended to let Ji Bo's brain be occupied by lust so as to induce him to consume. But unexpectedly, Ji Bochang looked at her body without any hesitation, as if he was looking at a commodity. Suddenly she felt extremely uncomfortable and adjusted her clothes with her hands, trying to cover her legs as much as possible. Naturally true. I, Ji Bochang, always keep my word and never brag. Ji Bochang smiled calmly. So, what does Master Ji plan to buy? Being looked at like this by Ji Bochang, Lian Xiaoyao felt more and more uncomfortable. She had never been looked at so openly before. At the same time, she didn't believe that Ji Bochang would really spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. After all, this amount was too exaggerated, and she didn't believe that Ji Bochang had so much property. Even she doesn't have so much personal property. Chapter 12. Ji Bochang said something shocking, and Lian Xiaoyao was stunned. To be honest, I came to your Chamber of Commerce today to purchase a treasure that can conceal my aura, the best treasure that can conceal my aura. The remaining money can be used to buy other miscellaneous things. It's all fine. I'll keep my word. I'll spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones on your Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce today. As if he had noticed that this woman didn't think she could spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones, Ji Bochang smiled faintly without showing any strange expression. Hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao was slightly shocked again. I became more and more certain of my thoughts. The dandy young master in front of him is definitely not what outsiders see. Whether it was the way he spoke to himself, the indifference he showed, or the treasure that he wanted to buy to conceal his aura. All of this confirmed what Lian Xiaoyao was thinking. At the same time, it also made her feel a little interested in the man in front of her. What a coincidence! Our Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce just recently acquired an excellent breath-hiding treasure, and was going to sell it as the finale item of the next auction. Lian Xiaoyao opened her red lips slightly. Since Master Ji is so sincere, let's sell this item to him in advance. That's great, I really didn't come to the wrong place. Ji Bochang's face lit up with joy, and he continued. But I want to spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones this time. Can Sister President meet some of my small conditions? What are the conditions? Master Ji, tell me. If you can really spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones in our Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, our Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce will not only give you a unique lifetime Noble Black Diamond membership card, but also give you the biggest discount. From now on, Master Ji will always be a guest of honor in our Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. I will meet you in person Tilder. Lian Xiaoyao naturally didn't think that he could really spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. She kept her composure, slightly curling her lips seductively, and said seductively. Hearing this, a cunning gleam flashed in Ji Bochang's eyes. Sister President, I don't need anything you said. I don't need any of it. Oh? Then what does Master Ji want? Could it be that Master Ji wants Tilda my concubine? Lian Xiaoyao narrowed her beautiful eyes slightly, with a hint of amusement in them. But Ji Bochang's next words made her expression suddenly freeze. Her beautiful eyes widened in surprise, revealing a look of astonishment and disbelief. I want you, Sister President, to give me a child. Ji Bochang also narrowed his eyes slightly, a handsome smirk appeared at the corner of his lips, and he said softly. While saying this, he did not show any sign of panic. He looked fearless. After a moment of surprise, Lian Xiaoyao's face suddenly became cold, and murderous intent and a hint of annoyance emerged in her eyes. The aura around him leaked out a little bit uncontrollably, and suddenly a slight pressure from the Lesser Saint realm spread throughout the room. As the president of the Chenyuan City branch of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, how could she have ever been verbally humiliated like this? I really didn't expect that the man in front of me would dare to say such words to me. A slight pressure came over me. Ji Bochang was slightly startled and felt the pressure all over his body suddenly filled. But the look of surprise on his face immediately disappeared. Young master. After sensing the fluctuations of the aura inside, the guardian outside the door immediately opened the door and shouted in surprise. Uncle Guo, don't make such a fuss, get out, I'm fine. Ji Bochang endured the slight pressure and said in a calm voice. Hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao immediately came back to her senses and suppressed the pressure emanating from her body, realizing that she had almost done something irreversible. But the coldness in her eyes remained, and the charming look had disappeared. Hearing this, the guardian looked worried and uneasy, but still closed the door. Young master, please don't get into any trouble. If anything happens to you, I'll be finished. Inside the house, Lian Xiaoyao suppressed the urge to kill Ji Bochang. But he no longer had a good expression on his face and looked at Ji Bochang coldly. Master Ji, if you say such rude words again, don't blame me for not being able to control my emotions and accidentally hurting Master Ji. She warned coldly. If you came here just to speak nonsense, Master Ji, please go back. After saying that, Lian Xiaoyao stood up and wanted to leave. She was afraid that if she stayed here any longer, she would not be able to resist killing this person. But Ji Bochang still looked calm and composed. He smiled faintly. Perhaps my words seemed a little rude and disrespectful to Sister President. But, I mean what I say. As long as Sister President is willing to bear a child for me, I will spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones at Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce today. After saying that, Lian Xiaoyao paused. At the same time, Ji Bochang felt a chill coming towards him again. Then an icy cold hand grabbed his neck. Do you really think I dare not kill you? Lian Xiaoyao pinched his neck, her beautiful eyes filled with coldness and murderous intent. His chest was heaving and he was filled with rage. Sister President, I really didn't tease you or joke with you on purpose anymore. Ji Bochang's face flushed and he said with difficulty. If you agree to my conditions and I don't fulfill them, you can do whatever you want. Hearing Ji Bochang's words, Lian Xiaoyao's chest rose and fell even faster. She clenched her teeth and squeezed out the words. Okay, if you can spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones at our Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce today, I, Lian Xiaoyao, will let you do whatever you want. If there is even a trace of falsehood in this statement, I, Lian Xiaoyao, will not be reincarnated for 9 lifetimes. I swear to the heavens. It's your turn now. What do you say? If you don't swear to the heaven, I will kill you right now. Lian Xiaoyao loosened the hand that was holding Ji Bochang's neck, and a cold look flashed in her eyes, as if she really wanted to kill him. Upon hearing this, Ji Bochang was immediately delighted. Good man, I haven't even proposed it yet, but you've already sworn an oath. Seeing his fearless look, Lian Xiaoyao became even angrier. I wondered how he could possibly have 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. If he didn't give me an explanation, I would have to kill him today. So what if he's the young leader of the heavenly demon sect? At worst, I can just kill him and leave. I won't stay here anymore. Okay, I, Ji Bochang, swear to the heaven that I will spend 10,000 top-grade spirit stones here today, otherwise I will be struck by 5 thunderbolts and die without reincarnation. Ji Bochang raised 3 fingers, squinted his eyes and looked at the angry woman in front of him, and said with a fearless look. Hearing him say these words in person, Lian Xiaoyao's expression froze. Stunned. Then her beautiful eyes trembled slightly, and an expression of surprise and disbelief appeared on her face. How is that possible? How could he dare to swear? The way of heaven cannot be violated. Experiments initiated in the name of heaven's way will definitely be effective. This is the setting that Ji Bochang set when he wrote this book. That's why Lian Xiaoyao was stunned at this moment, and even felt a strong panic in her heart. Chapter 13, End this disgusting deal and get out. Seeing the woman in front of him suddenly change her expression, Ji Bochang curled his lips and smiled. Then he took out his super storage card which contained 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. He grabbed Lian Xiaoyao's fair and delicate hand and put the card in her hand. I even deliberately touched the delicate little hand twice more. President sister, let's go, take me to spend some money. Having said that, Ji Bochang didn't let go and even grabbed Lian Xiaoyao's delicate little hand. Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes trembled violently, and she looked at Ji Bochang in surprise and panic. Then she no longer cared about the fact that Ji Bochang was taking advantage of her at the moment, and directly urged the spiritual energy to probe into the storage card in her hand. Then her beautiful eyes widened in surprise again, revealing a look of shock and disbelief. Really, they're really at 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. How is this possible? Immediately afterwards, the shock turned into panic and anxiety. Doesn't this mean that I really have to let the man in front of me do whatever he wants? Let this famous playboy in Zhongzhou do what he wants? And, still want to give birth to a child for him? Thinking of these terrible things, Lian Xiaoyao's face suddenly turned pale and she felt extremely resistant in her heart. No. But I still don't want to become a toy at the mercy of this person. President sister, let's go, take me to spend some money. Seeing her like this, Ji Bochang felt extremely comfortable and had a great sense of conquest. He simply grabbed her other fair little hand and led her out in a panic. Lian Xiaoyao was being pulled by Ji Bochang in a daze, looking absent-minded. All the color was gone in her beautiful eyes. After opening the door and walking out. When the guardian outside the door saw the change in the two people's condition, his eyes widened and his face looked shocked. This is what happened. Uncle Guo, please wait here for a while. The president's sister and I are going to spend some money. Ji Bochang said calmly. Then he took Lian Xiaoyao's hand and walked out. Just like that, Lian Xiaoyao looked dazed and was dragged away by Ji Bochang. Don't worry, Sister President. I promised you to give me a child. Just one child. I won't play around for too long. As they walked, Ji Bochang turned his head to look at Lian Xiaoyao, who had a dazed look on her face, and said softly. Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes trembled slightly, she looked up at him, and came back to her senses a little. Really? Her eyes were filled with complexity and resistance, and she asked in a daze. She swore a solemn oath that she would let Ji Bochang do whatever he wanted. Compared to this condition, just giving him a child is not unacceptable. It would only take me 9 months at most, plus my first time. And you can also use drugs to assist and try to speed up the progress. When you have completed the oath, you can regain your freedom. Of course it's true. I, Ji Bochang, am a gentleman and will definitely be gentle. Sister President, don't be afraid. Hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao bit her lower lip tightly, and her beautiful face was full of struggle. In the end, he responded with a look of shame and humiliation. Okay. Hearing this, Ji Bochang was delighted. Nailed it. That being said, but after you have really enjoyed the benefits I bring you, will you still think so? I'm afraid he will beg me for help then. Then let's do it today instead of today. After Lian Xiaoyao came to her senses, she wanted to pull her hand out, but Ji Bochang held it tightly, preventing her from doing so. Hearing this, a strong sense of shame suddenly surged across her beautiful face, and she gritted her teeth. Let me go. This matter should only be known between the two of us. If anything that damages my reputation is spread outside, I will definitely kill you. Lian Xiaoyao warned with a look of determination to fight to the death. Don't worry, Sister President, this kind of thing will not happen naturally. Ji Bochang let go of her hand and smiled faintly. Just like that, Lian Xiaoyao, with a mixed feeling of shame, tried her best to make her facial expression appear normal and natural, and walked towards the consumption area of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce with Ji Bochang. It really is a good treasure. I'm afraid that even a strong person above the Great Saint realm cannot detect the aura of this treasure, right? In a room on the top floor of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Ji Bochang held a necklace in his hand and said with satisfaction. Lian Xiaoyao stood in front of him, the complex shame in her eyes unable to be concealed. I was preparing myself mentally along the way. On the contrary, Ji Bochang acted as if nothing had happened and just bought and talked as he pleased. After buying the treasures that concealed his aura, Ji Bochang went on a shopping spree again. He called the guardian and asked if the sect needed to purchase anything. I bought a lot of them all at once. The guardian was so shocked that his eyes almost popped out of his head. I didn't expect that Ji Bochang actually had so much money. Where did it come from? Could it be stolen? Even so, even in the end, he still hadn't used up all the 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. Only half of it was consumed, which is 5,000 top-grade spirit stones. The entire Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce seemed to be celebrating the new year. It took everyone working together to finally get the job done. It took several storage cards with the largest space to fit all the things Ji Bo often bought. After working for more than an hour. The top floor of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. In Lian Xiaoyao's private bedroom. Sister President, I really can't spend all the remaining 5,000 top-grade spirit stones, but I have already given you the card. These 5,000 top-grade spirit stones will be considered as my spending today. I will save them and spend them later. Ji Bochang held a Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce top-level black diamond VIP card in his hand and said with a satisfied look on his face. Is this what it feels like to be rich? Spend money until your hands are soft, taken by whatever you like. Without any hesitation. The gold coins I got from my old father were all spent in less than a day. But he didn't feel at a loss at all. Because with 10,000 top-grade spirit stones he could make the beauty in front of him give birth to his child, it was really a big profit. In the original work, he laid out the true identity and origin of this woman, and originally intended to write her as a young lady who escaped from another continent. Later I forgot about her and didn't write about her. However, Ji Bochang believes that this world will evolve on its own. Moreover, this woman has the 9th level of the Lesser Saint realm cultivation, plus she has a stunning appearance, so he has made a fortune. Taking her as your apprentice and having her give birth to a child would definitely be a huge profit. Lian Xiaoyao stood in front of Ji Bochang. He still looked like he was in mixed emotions and not mentally prepared. Her beautiful eyes dodged and trembled slightly, she bit her lower lip lightly, and her heartbeat quickened slightly. Then she took a few deep breaths, her chest rising and falling, and looked at Ji Bochang with shame and disgust on her face. He looked at Ji Bochang as if he were trash, and said with shame and disgust on his face. End this disgusting deal and get out of here. Chapter 14, The Second Apprentice, Generous Rewards. Har har tilde. Seeing this woman looking at him with an expression of shame and disgust. For some reason, Ji Bochang felt inexplicably refreshed. I even hope that she will have the same expression in bed later. President sister, please don't be anxious. Before that, I think we can warm up a little, what do you think? Warm up. Upon hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao immediately felt annoyed and ashamed, and said angrily. Stop talking nonsense, just finish it and get out. That won't do. If Sister President doesn't cooperate like this, I'm afraid this won't end. Ji Bo often saw her like this, but his expression remained unchanged and he smiled faintly. His eyes kept wandering over her body, without any reservation. Upon hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao gritted her teeth, clenched her fists lightly, and her chest rose and fell, looking both ashamed and angry. She was totally inexperienced and didn't understand anything about this, let alone what the warm-up that Ji Bo often talked about was. President sister, I want you to role-play with me. Ji Bochang continued. Role-play? Lian Xiaoyao's expression froze for a moment, and it was obvious that she didn't understand. You, call me brother for a moment, using your previous voice. Ji Bochang continued. Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes widened slightly when she heard this. Then he immediately regained his ashamed and angry expression and said shyly. Don't even think about it. Why? The president's sister has promised to give birth to my child, but she won't even meet such a simple request. Ji Bochang had a depressed look on his face. Lian Xiaoyao was ashamed, angry and annoyed, but she couldn't do anything to Ji Bochang at the moment. I had no choice but to compromise with shame on my face. Elder brother. She cried out in a voice as tiny as the buzzing of a mosquito, then bit her lower lip lightly, and a blush of shame immediately appeared on her face. At the same time, an unprecedented sense of shame arose in my heart. Hearing this angry and embarrassing cry, Ji Bochang had a look of enjoyment on his face, and there was a hint of heat in his eyes. But, obviously, we cannot allow an accidental discharge of the weapon now. Be good, call me, husband again. Suddenly, Ji Bochang couldn't control his evil taste and began to test the bottom line of this woman. You don't push your luck. Although she didn't know what the word husband meant, Lian Xiaoyao knew it was not a good word when she saw Ji Bochang's bad look. TSK tilde alas, Sister President, if you are like this, there is no way to proceed. Since she's already promised to give birth to my child, what's the harm in saying a few more words? What do you think? Ji Bo often brainwashed her and constantly tested her bottom line. President Sister's voice is really nice. I want to listen to more of her. As he spoke, Ji Bochang's words became more coquettish. With his handsome face, it really does look quite charming. This caused Lian Xiaoyao to inexplicably feel the urge to surrender. Old husband. Lian Xiaoyao once again broke her bottom line and shouted in a low voice, then looked at Ji Bochang as if she had done it again and again, motioning him to start quickly. Alas tilde. Ji Bochang curled the corners of his lips slightly and sighed. My heart felt numb and tingling when she called me. Call me daddy again. Ji Bochang ignored her warning look and continued to speak in an aggressive manner. Upon hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao's expression froze for a moment, and then a cold look and murderous intent immediately emerged on her beautiful face. Don't be angry, Sister President. I was just joking with you. Seeing this, Ji Bochang immediately changed his words and looked at her innocently. Lian Xiaoyao gritted her teeth, wishing she could kill him right there and then. Don't be angry, Sister President, let's get started now. Ji Bochang stood up, took her fair and delicate little hand, and walked towards the inner room. Lian Xiaoyao struggled slightly, and then stopped. I suppressed the anger and murderous intent in my heart, and comforted myself that everything would be fine as long as I could get through this time. This time I was too careless and fell into the trap of this shameless guy. This sudden and absurd thing didn't even leave her with time to think about whether she would be unable to let go of the child if she really gave birth to it in the future. Ji Bochang held Lian Xiaoyao's fair and delicate little hand and walked into the inner room. The two sat on the couch. Lian Xiaoyao's heartbeat was thumping, and Ji Bochang could hear it. Sister President, before we begin, can you please fulfill one small request of mine? Suddenly, Ji Bochang said again. Hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao suddenly turned her head and glared at him. Her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. Just call me master, that's all. This is my last small request. I promise. Ji Bochang said with a serious face, his eyes full of clarity. You. Upon hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao immediately showed a hint of surprise, and then looked at Ji Bochang with a very strange look. It's like looking at a very strange person. She couldn't believe how perverted Ji Bochang was. Actually making such a request. But she still satisfied Ji Bochang and called him master somewhat shamelessly. Compared with the previous three, master is much better and not that difficult to call out. Hey, my dear disciple, from now on, you will be my second direct disciple. After hearing her call out the word master, Ji Bochang smiled cunningly in his heart. Lian Xiaoyao thought he was still playing some role-playing game and nodded reluctantly. Congratulations to their host for successfully receiving the second disciple. Reward host, 100,000 top-grade spirit stones, magical power, 9 transformations of the heavenly demon god level. Host, start cultivating as soon as possible, strive to obtain a second offspring as soon as possible, and contribute to the development of mankind. Listening to the system prompt sound in his mind, Ji Bochang was extremely happy. Holy shit, I spent 10,000 top-grade spirit stones and got back 100,000 top-grade spirit stones, ha 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 ha, is there such a good thing in the world? He also obtained a god-level magical power, the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon. The heavenly demon has 9 transformations, and each transformation can dramatically increase combat power. After the 9th transformation, his combat power can be temporarily increased to a terrifying level. Is that enough? How long are you going to keep on talking? Lian Xiaoyao's voice brought him back to his senses. Hearing this, Ji Bochang was filled with joy and threw her down on the couch. Immediately, an intoxicating fragrance filled her nose. Refreshing. Then, while Lian Xiaoyao was at a loss and in a panic, he directly and neatly possessed and invaded Lian Xiaoyao's red lips. Ling Lianxiaya's beautiful eyes widened in surprise, filled with astonishment and shame. At the same time, she felt numb all over, and a feeling she had never experienced before surged into her heart. The Emperor's technique is in operation. The Emperor's technique is in operation. The Emperor's technique is in operation. Chapter 15, The matter is over and she leaves. Lian Xiaoyao is in mixed feelings and her old father is shocked. Perhaps Lian Xiaoyao's cultivation is far higher than the host's, resulting in the host being unable to make her pregnant with the host's offspring. After system testing, the probability of winning will be greatly increased after 10 days. It is recommended that the host come back to work after 10 days. About an hour later, a system prompt sounded in Ji Bochang's mind. But he seemed not to hear it. Slowly, the sun sets and night falls. The bedroom was filled with an ambiguous and charming atmosphere. And a strong smell of hormones. Sister President, it seems that it is a bit difficult to win the prize because of the difference in realm. How about I come back in 10 days? The probability of winning the prize should be higher on that day. Ji Bochang said with great pleasure that he naturally heard the system's prompt. But, some things, once started, cannot be stopped halfway. After several hours of hard fighting, it turned out to be just as the system described. Because of the difference in cultivation levels, the difficulty of winning the prize has increased significantly. Lian Xiaoyao's face was flushed, and her beautiful eyes trembled with an indescribable color. But after hearing Ji Bochang's words, the indescribable color in her beautiful eyes immediately disappeared, and she glared at Ji Bochang. What did you say? A strong look of anger immediately emerged on her red face. Come back in 10 days. Didn't we agree? She felt like she had completely fallen into Ji Bochang's trap. You did it on purpose, didn't you? As it was her first time experiencing sex, she didn't understand much. I felt that what Ji Bochang said was not a lie. It was indeed because of the difference in realm that he was unable to win the prize. But I still can't accept it. So what is this? Am I just being taken advantage of for nothing? Why didn't you say so earlier? Lian Xiaoyao gritted her teeth, clenched her fists, and looked both annoyed and embarrassed. But if you look closely, you can find that her expression of annoyance and shame seems to be a little different from before. I don't know in advance. You can only know after trying it. Ji Bochang put his hands together with an innocent look on his face. Then how do you know that it will be possible in 10 days? Because 10 days from now is the day when you are likely to win the prize. Sister President may not know much about this. But I really didn't lie to you. There was a hint of tenderness in Ji Bochang's eyes. He looked seriously at the beautiful woman in front of him who seemed to be angry and resentful, and gently grasped her fair and delicate little hand. Lian Xiaoyao glared at him and immediately pulled her hand out. Then I thought about it for a while and felt that what he said seemed to be true. But even so, she still felt very angry and her mood was very complicated. I feel confused. So she pulled up the quilt, like a decent woman being toyed with by a playboy, and complained to Ji Bochang. Go away. See you in 10 days, Sister President. Take care of yourself. Ji Bochang was no longer greedy. After tidying up, he left in a leisurely manner. Lian Xiaoyao was left sitting alone on the couch, biting her lower lip lightly, her beautiful eyes trembling slightly. His face was filled with a complicated expression. Why? Why can he help me improve my cultivation? After Ji Bochang left, she was finally able to face the surprise in her heart. That's right, she has been stuck in the 9th level of the Lesser Saint realm for a long time. But now there is some loosening. Maybe I can use this to break into the Great Saint realm. When this thought came to her mind, her expression immediately froze, and then her face turned red, and she was extremely ashamed. Then he cried out in annoyance. Asshole! Pervert! Shameless thing! After their work was done, Ji Bochang left in an exceptionally happy mood. He also took advantage of this training to improve his cultivation to the 5th level of the spiritual realm. Host, Ji Bochang. Age, 20 years old. Appearance, handsome. Physique, devil's mad body, emperor's young body god level. Realm, the 3rd level of the spiritual and mortal realm, the 5th level of the spiritual and mortal realm. Skills, heavenly emperor skills god level. Magical power, 9 transformations of the devil god level. Moves, vast divine sword technique god level, mysterious divine footwork god level. Items: Kanmang Divine Sword God level, even Asa would go crazy if she smells it. 10. Divine Escape Talisman 10. Curse Talisman 8. 100,000 top grade spiritual stones. Offspring 0.5. Apprentice Ji Bochang Lian Xiaoyao. Lian Xiaoyao Demon Clan Identity. Age 124 years old. Realm Lesser Saint Realm, 9th level. Appearance fairy-like appearance. Physical constitution born with charming bones, holy demon body. Give birth to offspring 0. She is a demon race. I didn't give her a clear identity when I wrote it. However, this world should give her a very powerful identity based on the foreshadowing I laid before. As expected of a little fairy, you are naturally charming and fascinating. Ji Bochang walked while reminiscing about the past, feeling that he could never forget it. The protector was waiting for Ji Bochang outside the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Seeing that it was getting dark and his young master had not come out yet, he looked worried and anxious. Finally, Ji Bochang was seen walking out. Young master, you finally came out. I was so anxious. Let's go back. Young master, where did you get that money? It can't be. Don't ask so many questions. I have money and I am willful. After returning to the demon sect, it was already late. There are no disciples wandering around in the sect anymore. Ji Bochang did not go home, but first walked towards the main peak of his old father's clan. The old father Ji Bochang was sitting in the main hall again, looking at the scroll in his hands with an infatuated look on his face. After sensing Ji Bochang's arrival, the infatuation on his face immediately disappeared and he put the scroll away. So he put on a serious look. Dad, I'm back. He tilde. Ji Bochang walked in from outside with a smile on his face. What? What are you doing here again? Don't tell me you've spent all those 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. The old father pretended to be serious. Ji Bochang curled his lips into a smile and took out 10 storage cards. Seeing this, Ji Bochang almost popped his eyes out. He reflexively took out his gilded python belt. Hey. Wait a minute. Ji Bochang handed 10 storage cards to his old father. The old father looked like he was about to lose his temper. As if to say, if there is something useless here, you are dead. Then the old father began to check one by one. The first one is full of useless and messy things. The old father was furious. The second one is still a mess, but there are some useful things too. The old father's expression remained the same. The third, fourth, to the 9th card are all useful things, and most of them are what the sect needs right now. Seeing this, the old father was a little surprised and felt inexplicably relieved. Even so, buying all these things at once was no different from being an idiot in the eyes of my old father. But at least the child has grown up, right? Then he checked the 10th one. Unexpectedly, this investigation made everyone dumbfounded. He showed an expression of extreme shock. 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. Chapter 16 Xiao Yan's golden finger disappears. Ji Bochang goes to the no man's land alone. You, where did you get it? The old father looked shocked. Don't worry, Dad. I got it through legitimate channels. It's definitely not black money. You have raised me for so many years, and it is time for me to repay you. Ji Bochang said with a look of great filial piety. The old father's face was so moved that he almost shed tears. Which parent doesn't want their children to be successful and sensible? After exchanging greetings with the old father for a while, Ji Bochang went back. The old father sat alone in the main hall with a gratified smile on his face. He has really grown up. It would be nice if you were still here. Master, you're back. After Ji Bochang went back. After not seeing each other for a long time, Ji Bochang hugged him with a dependent look on her face, as if she hadn't seen him for a long time. Like a clingy little kitten. The soft jade is in my arms, and the fragrance is refreshing. Qingxue, I missed you too. Ji Bochang hugged her and spoke softly. Hearing this, Ji Bochang felt extremely happy and smiled softly. Little did they know that Ji Bochang had just finished committing adultery. At the same time, inside Zhongzhou Qianjian sect, Xiao Yang was distraught for 2 days after being told that he would never reach the realm of the king after having his appendix removed. I can't accept this cruel fact. He was lying in his outer disciple's residence, thinking about life. Little did he know that his future ambiguous partner had already been snatched away by Ji Bochang. He couldn't accept that he had suddenly developed this disease. Not only did he lose the first place in the outer sect competition, but he also missed the chance to enter the inner sect competition early. Also, because of having this thing cut off, he was told that he would never be able to reach the realm of a king in this life. I am unwilling to accept. My future is the sea of stars. His face was full of reluctance, and he spoke through gritted teeth. Then he sat up and took out a necklace from his clothes. Just hold it in your hand. This is undoubtedly the golden finger he carries as the protagonist of this book. This necklace not only helped him repair his damaged meridians, but also assisted him in his cultivation. But this time, the necklace didn't help him anymore. That's why he was so desperate and distraught. Just at this moment, the necklace suddenly vibrated. Seeing this, Xiao Yang's eyes immediately widened, and a hope burst out in his eyes. But what happened next made him dumbfounded and stunned. The necklace turned into powder and dissipated in the air. All that was left was a rope hanging around his neck. Seeing that his golden finger was gone, Xiao Yang was dumbfounded. My body began to tremble uncontrollably. This is the necklace he picked up when he was a child. Why did this happen suddenly? The sudden change made Xiao Yang, who was already mentally broken, even more heartbroken. The next day, after giving Ji Yuqingshu a sweet kiss, Ji Bochang left the demon sect again. However, this time, he did not let the bodyguard follow him. Today, he is really going to do something big. Yesterday was just preparation for this big event. Use a curse talisman to curse Xiao Yang to death. While walking on the road, Ji Bochang suddenly had an idea and tried it out. Failed to use, the target Xiao Yang is the son of luck in this world, the curse talisman cannot curse him to death. Is it true? Then curse Xiao Yang to be unlucky and have bad luck. The use was successful, the effect was average, and the duration was 1 day. Hearing this, Ji Bochang sighed softly. I thought that the use of it 2 days ago that caused Xiao Yang to have acute appendicitis shouldn't have had any major impact on him, right? After all, he is lucky. We must work hard to become stronger and keep getting stronger. We must not let down our guard or underestimate the enemy, Ji Bochang said with a serious expression. After leaving the demonic sect, he put on a black cloak purchased from the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce and a fox mask. Then he activated the first move of the Shenxian step, following the shadow and rushing in one direction. When he left, he told Ji Yuqingshu that he might be away for several days before coming back, and asked her not to miss him too much. There is a large area around the demon sect and there is no one there, except for the small towns affiliated with the demon sect. After walking out of the territory of the demonic sect, what comes into view are the scattered villages and towns. From time to time, some small forces can pass by. The demonic sect is located in the northernmost part of Zhongzhou, not far from the monster forest at the border between Zhongzhou and Beiju. Tianyuan City, the largest xiancheng in Zhongzhou that Ji Bochang visited yesterday, is located in the most central location in Zhongzhou. The Chenjian sect is located in the eastern part of Zhongzhou. The place that Ji Bochang was going to this time was a place halfway between Tianyuan City and Tianmor sect. This place is a mixed bag. It is an ownerless land. The reason why Ji Bochang often comes here is, of course, that as the original author, he has something interesting to do. In this way, it took about 5 hours for Ji Bochang to arrive at this ownerless land on his spirit horse. He rode the best spiritual horse of the demon sect. Along the way, many people coveted his spiritual horse, but seeing how he was dressed, no one dared to make a move. Ji Bo often rode his spirit horse on a small hill. Looking into the distance, I saw several corpses. Even a faint smell of blood could be smelled in the air. But for some reason, Ji Bochang not only did not feel the slightest fear, but was inexplicably excited instead. Since coming to this world, he has never fought with anyone. I especially want to feel my own power and strength. Feel this fantasy world. Then he pulled the reins, turned the horse around, and looked in another direction. Compared to this direction, the other direction seems much safer. There are no corpses, and the road is relatively flat and clean. Ji Bochang's eyes were slightly hunted and he curled his lips into a meaningful smile. He rode his spirit horse towards the direction of the hillside. As a result, he had just ridden his spirit horse down the hill and had not walked far when countless people appeared from all directions. Each of them looked ferocious, with eyes full of cruelty and murderous intent. Each of them is a desperado. Obviously, they are an organization. And each of them has their own cultivation. Ji Bochang stopped his horse, and the spirit horse immediately became panic-stricken and looked around, trying to escape. But Ji Bochang held it down tightly, preventing it from moving. At the same time, with a calm smile on his face, he looked at the people rushing towards him. It was as if the appearance of these people was within his expectations. There are two roads, one looks dangerous, the other looks safe. Normal people would choose the safe path, right? However, these desperate criminals know this better than anyone else. Ji Bochang, of course, knew it very well. He deliberately took this path just to test his current strength. Chapter 17, Testing Strength and Killing. Get started. A large group of people came from all directions with ferocious looks on their faces. Among them, the strongest one has reached the 9th level of Dao Jun realm. Those who are at the level of the Venerable King and above can all fly in the air. So they have never failed in their attempts to intercept and kill people here. Relying on the advantages of numbers and geography. Most of these people came to this no man's land because they had nowhere else to go. This unowned land is also the only chaotic and disorderly place in Zhongzhou. In a sense, this place is more like the cruel world of cultivation. Ji Bochang leaped up and slowly got off his horse. He took off his hat. A face wearing a fox mask was revealed. Several people were already attacking him with swords or bare hands. There is one in the Dao Lord realm, several in the Lingfan realm, and several in the Cairon Ling realm. Ji Bochang's eyes showed excitement and he kicked his feet. It shot out like a bullet. He instantly approached a person in the spiritual mortal realm, and punched him in the face while he was stunned. Immediately, his head was blasted into a ball of bloody mist. Then, without any pause, he rushed towards the Dao Jun realm man. The group of people were originally smiling sinisterly, but when they saw Ji Bochang's sudden burst of strength, they were stunned and their faces showed alertness. The man at the Dao Jun realm also came to his senses immediately after his companion was killed, and used all his strength to activate his martial arts. The aura around him surged and spiritual energy exploded. He directly used his strongest mystical skills towards Ji Bochang, who was rushing towards him. The majestic spiritual energy was like a flood, creating pits on the ground wherever it passed, and it rushed towards Ji Bochang. Ji Bochang stopped and his hair was blown all over by the oncoming wind wave. But there was still an excited look on his face as he activated the Heavenly Emperor's skills. Suddenly, a pure and rich golden spiritual energy emerged from his body. Then he threw a punch. A domineering spiritual energy burst out. In an instant, it swallowed up the incoming wave of spiritual energy. The eyes of the man at the Dao Jun realm suddenly widened in surprise, and his pupils suddenly shrank, revealing an expression of extreme astonishment. I wanted to avoid it, but it was too late. He was immediately hit hard by Ji Bochang's domineering spiritual energy. His eyes rolled back and he flew backwards, killing several brothers in the Rongling realm behind him. Ji Bochang felt the blow he had just delivered, his arms couldn't help but tremble slightly, and he felt extremely happy. Is this power? This feeling of releasing power was simply impossible for him to extricate himself. Those who are above the spiritual mortal realm, join me. The man who seemed to be the leader immediately looked alert and concerned, and shouted loudly. Then he burst out with all his strength at the 9th level of the Dao Lord realm. The group of people no longer dared to underestimate Ji Bochang and rushed towards him with all their strength. Ji Bo often raises his right hand. A long sword appeared out of thin air in his hand. The vast divine sword. As soon as the long sword appeared, it caused a sudden movement. The air around it began to tremble slightly, and some invisible molecules in the air seemed to be affected by the sword. Looking at the magic sword in his hand, Ji Bochang's eyes lit up and he was extremely excited. Then he was seen using all his strength to mobilize the domineering and pure spiritual energy. He is only at the 5th level of the mortal realm, but the amount of spiritual energy and the domineering degree of spiritual energy can even be compared with the 9th level of the Taoist realm. Feel the powerful aura around Ji Bochang. Many people were frightened and stunned, becoming stage frightened and not daring to rush forward. The leader's face was filled with shock and disbelief, and at the same time, his eyes suddenly filled with intense heat as he stared at the sword in Ji Bochang's hand. Ji Bo often uses the first move of the Kangmang divine sword to seal the sky with one sword. The domineering and pure spiritual energy around his body immediately poured into the sword and gathered until the blade of the sword was glowing, and the energy concentrated in it could burst out at any time. Feeling the terrifying energy fluctuations in his hand, Ji Bochang slashed out with his sword without hesitation. He swung out a huge pure golden crescent moon, and rushed out with unstoppable force. The gusts of wind were so strong that they broke down the surrounding trees and rocks. Almost in an instant, a large group of people died at the hands of Ji Bochang's sword. Not even ashes left. He was instantly submerged by the huge and terrifying sword energy. A large number of people died tragically, and the rest were simply terrified. I was scared to death. Ji Bochang's eyes trembled violently, his adrenaline surged, and he was extremely excited. Then, without any pause, he turned his head abruptly to look at the two men at the 9th level of the Dao Lord realm who were attacking him. Activate the first move of the Shenxian step and move with the shadow. Almost in an instant, he approached one of them and slashed with a sword. The man's face was filled with shock. He couldn't believe what the hell were the moves that Ji Bochang used. See what you have never seen and hear what you have never heard. But thanks to his huge advantage in realm, this person was able to react. He immediately dodged to the side, mobilized his spiritual energy with all his strength, performed a mysterious skill, and killed Ji Bochang. Ji Bochang was not in a hurry to kill him with all his strength, but just fought with him to enjoy the pleasure brought to him by the process. Another Dao Lord level 9 also attacked him. In this way, he fought two people alone and was not at a disadvantage at all. It feels great. It feels so great. Ji Bochang said excitedly. Then he wanted to continue trying his other cards. So, he directly used the magical power he had just acquired, the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon. Suddenly, a fierce and brutal aura surged out of his hands, and a hint of red light appeared in his eyes. The whole person's momentum suddenly soared again, and his hair flew. The terrifying and ferocious aura spread out, making everyone present almost urinate their pants, and their legs became so weak that they couldn't even run. Har 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 har. As he used this magical power, Ji Bochang felt that his mood became more and more excited, and at the same time, a strong impulse remained in his heart. Violent impulse. Want to destroy everything. His eyes turned red, and both his speed and strength increased dramatically. In an instant, the sword cut off the head of the man at the 9th level of the Daoist realm. Even when that man died, he still had an expression of horror and disbelief on his face. Then he instantly approached another man who wanted to escape and pierced his heart with a sword. Then he turned his attention to the rest of the people present. He doesn't intend to let anyone go. No one here is innocent. And now that he has revealed his cards, he cannot let anyone go. He felt no guilt or mercy for this. After finishing off everyone, Ji Bochang continued riding on his spirit horse and moved forward. Sitting on the spirit horse, a handsome smile appeared on the corner of his lips, and his appearance returned to his original calm and composed look. As if nothing had happened. Chapter 18, Assassination Pavilion, Shocking Amount, Killing Tiger. Ji Bochang continued to move forward. In this way, they rode for another half an hour. Finally, we arrived at the edge of a canyon. Ji Bo often jumped off his horse. After tying the spirit horse to a tree with a rope. Then he jumped down into the canyon. After landing steadily, he walked to both sides along the bottom of the canyon. Seems to be looking for something. After a while, he found an unusual place. It was a small hole hidden by some green plants. Ji Bochang walked inside, holding a talisman that could help him escape. There was actually a tunnel inside. The further you go in, the deeper it gets and the darker it becomes. Ji Bochang walked inside step by step with his nerves tense. He naturally had his reasons for coming here. He must do his best to gather all the resources that can be gathered towards him as quickly as possible. Whether it is human resources or material resources. Continue to walk inside. Finally, Ji Bochang saw a ray of light from a distance. Then as we got closer, the light became brighter. Until a wall blocked the way. Walking to the wall, Ji Bochang gently tapped a black stone on the wall 5 times. Then, a miraculous sound came from inside. Kill the cow, the sheep, or the chicken. Kill the tiger. Ji Bochang spoke in a calm voice, without a trace of aura leaking out of his body, and he was wearing a fox mask on his face. As he finished speaking, no more sound came from inside. But Ji Bochang was not in a hurry and just stood there. After a dozen breaths had passed, their voice came from behind the wall again, and their voice had changed. It became the voice of a middle-aged man. You want to kill the tiger? Yes, I want to kill the tiger. Ji Bochang still answered calmly. Have you brought enough money? Nature. After hearing this, the middle-aged man stopped asking. I saw the stone wall in front of me slowly open, making a rumbling sound. Wait until the stone wall is completely opened. What came into view was a middle-aged man in a black robe. At first glance, his appearance is somewhat similar to Ji Bochang. The middle-aged man inside the wall was slightly surprised when he saw Ji Bochang's appearance, and his eyes showed more importance and solemnity. He couldn't detect Ji Bochang's cultivation level, but he was a powerful person in the lesser saint realm. There is only one possibility, that is, the man in front of him is at the great sage level, so he cannot detect him. The middle-aged man thought in his heart, his expression changed, a smile appeared on his gloomy face, and he said with a faint smile, Sir, please follow me. I will take you to see our deputy pavilion master. Ji Bochang nodded gently without saying anything, looking like an expert. Just like that, the two of them walked inside, one in front and one behind. After walking through a very long tunnel, we arrived at a large building built inside the canyon. This place is called the Assassination Pavilion. In the original novel, Ji Bochang was a force established with the purpose of creating crisis for the protagonist. This unowned land was also specially carved out for this force. Here you just need to pay money, and once the money is in place, we will give you a head. Of course, the price is extremely expensive. After all, assassination also represents a high risk. It is equivalent to risking one's life to make money, so naturally the fees will be more exaggerated. Of course, if this force was nothing more than that, Ji Bochang would not have come here specially. In the original novel, Ji Bochang did not let this force die as the plot developed. Instead, as their worldview continues to expand, this force is portrayed as more mysterious and powerful. Ji Bochang, on the other hand, must seize this force with unlimited potential in the future as soon as possible in the early stages. After a while, Ji Bochang, led by the middle-aged man, came to a darker place. Looking closer, one could see a man sitting on a chair in the distance, resting with his eyes closed. The man had long hair and a scar on his face, and just by sitting there he gave people an aura that no one could offend. This kind of aura is created by the countless souls of his subordinates. The man slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were sharp and deep, like a bottomless abyss. One look at them seemed to make one fall into them. Ji Bochang looked at the man and felt a little nervous, holding the magical escape talisman tightly in his hand. If there is anything wrong, urge it immediately. This man was the deputy leader of the Assassination Pavilion, a ruthless man who killed people without blinking an eye. Sir, this client wants to kill a tiger. The middle-aged man who walked in with Ji Bochang bowed and said respectfully to the man sitting on the chair. Kill the tiger. Upon hearing this, the deputy leader of the Assassination Pavilion's expression changed slightly. Then he shifted his gaze to Ji Bochang. He was shocked to find that he was unable to figure out this person's strength, and his eyes showed a bit more importance. Go down, I'll talk to him alone. The man spoke. Yes, sir. After the middle-aged man left, Ji Bochang looked directly at him, and he also looked directly at Ji Bochang. Who are you going to kill? The deputy leader of the Assassination Pavilion felt the same strong aura of death coming from Ji Bochang, and the importance in his eyes became even stronger, so he opened his mouth to ask. However, this aura of death was only because Ji Bochang had killed that group of people on their way. It will disappear in a day. It is nothing compared to the aura of death from someone like him who has been killing people for years. I want to kill the Heavenly Demon Sect. Fifth Elder. Ji Bo often spoke in a calm voice, deliberately keeping his voice very low. Upon hearing this, the deputy leader of the Assassination Pavilion's eyelids twitched slightly. She was obviously shocked by his words. The fifth elder of the demonic sect. Could this person be from the Heavenly Sword sect? The deputy leader of the Assassination Pavilion had this guess in his mind. After all, in the entire Zhongzhou, only the Tianjian sect dared to say such words and do such things. You want to kill the fifth elder of the Heavenly Demon sect? This may be difficult. I can give you a perfect chance to kill him. Hearing this, Ji Bochang continued. And the demonic sect has absolutely no evidence to suspect you. Hearing this, a look of excitement appeared in the man's eyes. This is definitely a huge deal. He was confident that he could kill the 5 elders of the demon sect as long as he was given a suitable opportunity. So, how much are you going to pay? The deputy leader of the assassination pavilion asked Ji Bochang. Ji Bochang didn't say much and directly threw out a storage card. The man took the storage card, reached into it, and detected how many top-grade spirit stones were inside. His face was immediately filled with shock. 50,000 top-grade spirit stones. A full 50,000 top-grade spirit stones. This terrifying amount of money is already equal to the amount of money the assassination pavilion has earned from all missions, big and small, over the years. For top sects like the Heavenly Demon Sect and the Heavenly Sword Sect, this is probably the maximum amount they can come up with, right? Such a terrifying amount is enough to feed the entire Qianwu continent. Is it enough to train dozens of great saints? Chapter 19 sets a big banner and prepares to intercept the palace master of Bingxian Palace. Is that enough? If not, I'll add more money. Ji Bochang said calmly, as if these 50,000 top-grade spirit stones were just a small amount of money to him. Make a deal. Yu, the deputy leader of the assassination pavilion, said with blazing eyes, and his motivation was instantly maxed out. It was totally worth it to take the risk of killing the 5 elders of the demon sect for these 50,000 top-grade spirit stones. May I ask your name? Yu tentatively probed Ji Bochang, thinking that he was the leader of the Tianjian sect. Just call me Lao Liu. Ji Bochang couldn't think of any name for a moment, so he made up something. 6th brother. Yes, in our place, I am the 6th, and they like to call me the 6th. Ji Bochang's words made Yu a little confused. What does this mean? The 6th elder of the Tianjian sect. But he couldn't understand why the Tianjian sect spent 50,000 top-grade spirit stones to assassinate the 5 elders of the Qianmor sect. As far as he knew, the 5th elder of the demon sect was the weakest among all the elders of the demon sect. Totally not worth it, huh? This time, I came here for another purpose besides this matter, which is to get to know you, the leader of your assassination pavilion. From what I understand, you not only have assassination business, but also other business, as long as the money is in place. Ji Bochang said calmly. Of course, as long as the money is in place, there is nothing we can't do. Yu replied, still looking as if he had not yet come to his senses, wondering who Ji Bochang was. That's great. It can save me a lot of trouble. You don't have to guess who I am, and there's no need to guess who I am. I pay the money and you do the work, isn't that good? Ji Bochang looked as if he could see through his thoughts and smiled faintly. Hearing this, Yu immediately came back to his senses and paid more attention to the man in front of him. Har tilde since Brother 6 is unwilling to reveal his identity, I will naturally not try to steal your identity. You are right, you pay the money and I do the work, that's all. But our pavilion master is not here right now. He may not be back for a month or even longer. Brother 6, this is the golden token of our assassination pavilion. It stands to reason that the way we do business with our customers is limited to trading here, but you are so sincere, it would be unkind of me to be stingy. There was no trace of coldness on Yu's face at this moment. He threw a golden token to Ji Bochang as if he was facing his best friend. This is a token that only our assassination pavilion's top killers can possess. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly through this token. I will respond to you immediately after receiving it. After taking the golden token, he saw the words Assassination Pavilion engraved on it. Ji Bochang was extremely happy. The purpose of his visit was certainly not just to buy the life of the 5th elder. His main purpose was to scare the deputy leader of the assassination pavilion and make himself particularly mysterious and worthy of attention in his mind. This way, it will be much easier for him to do things in the future. He didn't want to rely on the power of the sect to do things for himself. It would be great to have such a force that specializes in doing things for money, and whose identity is unknown to everyone. Okay, I'll take it. I believe we will have many great collaborations in the future. As for the matter of the 5th elder of the Heavenly Demon Sect, I will contact you when I find the opportunity. Ji Bochang raised his eyes and looked at Yu not far away again, and said in a calm voice. Okay, then I will take 10,000 top-grade spirit stones first, and after the assassination is successful, I will take the remaining 40,000 top-grade spirit stones. Yu Yu said this and was about to return 40,000 top-grade spirit stones to Ji Bochang. No need, I trust you. Ji Bochang raised his hand to signal. Brother Lao Liu is so courageous. Yu Yu, like dealing with people like you, har 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 tilde. Hearing this, Yu Yu was no longer polite. Well, we'll see you again when your pavilion master comes back. Ji Bochang said calmly, then turned and left. Okay, take care, sixth brother. After hearing Ji Bochang's words, Yu Yu didn't think much about it for a while. But after Ji Bochang left, his expression froze slightly and an unhappy look appeared on his face. This is a super client that I developed myself, but why does he seem to want to meet the pavilion master more? He tilde. After leaving the assassination pavilion, Ji Bochang stepped on the canyon wall and ran upwards using the Xinxian footwork. He wants to play a big game. Take complete control of the assassination pavilion in your own hands. The reason why he wanted to take this opportunity to buy the Fifth Elder's life was not just because he disliked the Fifth Elder. The Fifth Elder is a complete villain. In the original novel, after the demonic sect fell into decline, he was the first to turn against them. If we don't kill this kind of person, will we keep him alive for the new year? Of course, Ji Bochang's main purpose is to contact the assassination pavilion. Buying his life was just a byproduct. At the top of the canyon, Ji Bochang took off the rope of the spirit horse and rode the spirit horse back in the direction he came from. It took about 5 or 6 hours. Only then did he return to the demon sect. It was already early morning. There are cicadas chirping in the woods outside the demon sect. It is summer now. After Ji Bochang put away his cloak and mask, he strode back to the sect. After returning to his own small mountain, see Ji Yu Qingxue practicing. She was wearing a thin white nightgown, revealing her fair and delicate skin. Compared to the day she first entered the sect, she now seems to have begun to acquire the charm of a young woman. Qingxue tilde, I'm back tilde. Ji Bochang entered the room and called out softly. Hear his voice. Ji Yu Qingxue immediately stopped practicing, opened her beautiful eyes, and fluttered her long eyelashes, her eyes filled with tenderness and attachment. Master tilde. She stood up, ran towards Ji Bochang, and threw herself into his arms. Especially clingy. With the soft jade in his arms, Ji Bochang rubbed her hair. Some people can't put it down. He immediately held her fair and delicate face and kissed her. Just like that, for the next 9 days, Ji Bochang did not leave the demon sect again. In this way, he accompanied Ji Yu Qingxue day and night, and the two of them were like a newlywed couple, inseparable. Ji Bochang's cultivation level has risen to the 8th level of the Lingfan realm. And Ji Yu Qingxue's cultivation level also rose to the 9th level of the Lingrong realm. The speed of breaking through the realm can be described as extremely fast as flying. Ji Yu Qingxue told Ji Bochang something somewhat embarrassedly during the conversation. She just wanted to send some money home. Ji Bo often called him a fool, saying there was nothing to be embarrassed about, his money was her money, and he coaxed her into feeling very happy and blessed. And during these 9 days, over at Tianyuan City's demonic hall, under the pressure from Ji Bochang, the manager also fought with all his might, recruiting fresh blood from the sect and then training them attentively. Chapter 20. The 10-day deadline has come. With the help of heaven, Xiao Yang is resurrected. And during these 9 days, in the Tianjian sect, something happened that shocked the entire sect. There was friction between an outer disciple and an inner disciple. And on the martial arts stage, defeated the inner disciple. He was accepted as a disciple by an elder of the sect and became an inner disciple of the sect as an exception. This person is Xiao Yang. The top leaders of the Tianjian sect were also particularly surprised by this. He had just unfortunately missed the championship in the outer sect competition not long ago, but within a dozen days, his strength increased dramatically and he directly crossed the border and defeated the inner sect disciples. This kind of thing is simply unthinkable, but it is actually happening. In the demon sect, Ji Bochang received messages from his younger brothers and immediately frowned. A few days ago, he asked me to keep an eye on Xiao Yang from the Tianjian sect, and to tell him immediately after I found out any news about Xiao Yang. Then he learned that Xiao Yang had unfortunately lost in the outer disciple competition not long ago and won second place. He was very happy at that time, thinking that his intervention made Xiao Yang unable to catch up with the progress of the original work he wrote. Who would have thought that just a few days later, there was news that Xiao Yang crossed the border and defeated the inner disciples, and was made an exception to become an inner disciple, and was accepted as a disciple by an elder. Why? No matter how I intervene, will the heavens eventually correct their course and allow Xiao Yan, the son of destiny, to get back on track? Ji Bo often sat alone in the courtyard, feeling extremely irritable. And he realized a very serious problem. If he interfered too much with Xiao Yan, causing his route to be completely incompatible with the original plot, and if the heavenly Tao derived a new path for him, it would be very disadvantageous to him. Because this way the advantage of the original author will become smaller and smaller. Host, don't worry. Just the heavenly Tao and the Son of Luck. With the help of the power of this system, the host can easily control them. At this time, the humane system actually began to calm Ji Bochang's mood. Hearing this, Ji Bochang calmed down a little and took a few deep breaths. Indeed, since I have a more perverted plug-in like the system, there is nothing to worry about. Since the heavenly Tao is helping him to the death just like his father did, he will just eliminate the heavenly Tao as well. Ji Bochang's eyes were firm, filled with sharpness and determination. You are right. After calming down, Ji Bochang once again took out the small green bead he picked up in the sex-forbidden area. At present, his cultivation has reached the 8th level of the Lingfan realm. Let us try again to see if we can activate this little green bead. If it can be activated, it will be a huge improvement and help for myself. This big treasure among the little green beads is really amazing. Ji Bochang used all his strength to practice the Heavenly Emperor's technique, continuously channeling the hot spiritual energy into the small green bead. I want to fill the big treasure inside so that she can't eat it anymore. This went on for about the length of a pot of tea. Ji Bochang was almost sucked dry, but still failed to successfully activate the little green bead. Ji Bochang stopped immediately to avoid being sucked dry. It seems that it will be impossible to activate the stone in the short term. Ji Bochang shook his head and was about to put the little green beads away. Suddenly, a humming sound came out from it, hum tilder tilder. Like the sound of satisfaction after eating a full meal. Ji Bochang was slightly startled and said to the little green bead, "Can you hear me?" There was no further talk. But since it can make a sound, it means it is about to be activated. I have to keep up the good work and try to activate it as soon as possible. After putting away the little green bead, Ji Bochang called for his guardian and headed towards Tianyuan City again. The 10-day period has expired. It's time to build a business and expand. Arrive at the central area of Tianyuan City. Ji Bochang, the human on the street, fell from the sky, and the scene was reenacted, and everyone scattered. Ji Bochang had a noble look on his face and walked into the heavenly demon hall calmly and confidently. The steward, who was sitting on a bench, came and immediately stood up from the bench. "Young master, you are here. In the past 10 days, I have followed your instructions and recruited a group of fresh blood from the sect and provided adequate training." The steward bowed and said with a smile. Ji Bo often looked inside and saw that the layout and decoration had changed. Brand new. Nodded with satisfaction. It seems that the manager has really put in a lot of effort. Yes, call them out. Ji Bochang sat on the bench and said calmly. Yes, young master. Then all the new blood was called out. Welcome, young master. A group of people quickly formed a formation, each of them full of energy and high morale, bending over and shouting in a loud voice. Wow. Ji Bochang felt that this scene was beyond his expectations. He smiled faintly and clapped his hands. Very good. Seeing that Ji Bochang was satisfied, the steward immediately grinned. Then let's officially start our revival plan. Ji Bochang looked confident and turned to signal the guard to close the door. That dude is here again. Humph. Playing tricks. Liu Yu, an inner sect disciple of Tianjian sect stationed in Tianjian Hall, said with disdain upon hearing the real-time news reported by someone. A playboy dreams of running a sect's business. This is ridiculous. If he hadn't stopped harassing Junior Sister Mu this month, I would have made him pay a heavy price. The more he talked, the more excited he became. Anyway, there were no outsiders here. Even if one of your own people sees through something, they won't say it out loud. This shows that you have high emotional intelligence. Brother Liu is right. Liu Yu seemed to be really immersed in his own fantasy, smiling smugly. Let's go out and take a look. He stood up and walked towards the main hall of Tianjian Hall. I want to pretend that I am being inspected by a leader and show off. Senior Brother Liu. As soon as he arrived at the main hall, the disciple at the front counter immediately called out to him in flattery. He nodded slightly, with his hands behind his back, looking like a leader conducting an inspection. However, at this moment, an inconspicuous person suddenly walked out from the crowd outside and came to the front counter without anyone noticing. Then he placed a small open bottle on the front counter without anyone noticing. He immediately pinched his nose and left. Looking at the crowded outer hall, Liu Yu felt extremely proud. However, at this moment, several disciples at the front counter suddenly felt something was wrong. His face began to turn red, and desire and impulse surged in his eyes. "Woman, I want a woman." The disciple at the front counter seemed to have lost his mind and was muttering to himself. "What did you say?" When Liu Yu heard his words, he suddenly turned his head and asked with a confused look on his face. Then he sniffed lightly and smelled an unusual smell. Then I felt an impulse surge into my brain. Chapter 21. Something happened in Qianjian Hall. Qianmore Hall stood up. Something strange happened. Liu Yu, an inner sect disciple of Qianjian sect, wanted to suppress the strong impulse that suddenly surged in his mind. But immediately, he lost his mind and was unable to resist at all. What followed was a terrifying scene. Inside the Qianjian Hall, several disciples suddenly went crazy and pounced on others. Brother? What's wrong with you?" The customer who was talking and laughing with the people from Qianjian Hall also heard the shouting immediately. He suddenly raised his head and looked inside. After seeing the situation inside, he immediately stood up with a look of horror on his face. The Chenjiantang staff member who was in charge of negotiating with the customer also immediately became alert, stood up and turned to look. Seeing that his respected senior brother Liu Yu was actually pressing a male disciple under him and tearing his clothes. "Brother Liu, what's wrong with you?" He immediately stepped forward to stop it, but as soon as he got there, he smelled a strange odor and was stunned for a moment. Froze in place. All the customers in Qianjian Hall stood up and watched the incident happen with alert and panic. The members of Qianjian Hall wanted to stop it one by one, but things also started to go wrong. Then several staff members who were fine turned around and looked at the customer with eager faces. Seeing this, some customers ran out immediately, while others were stunned for a moment. The shouting of the customer who ran away immediately attracted the attention of the people on the street, and they all looked over here. "What's wrong? What happened?" "Inside. The people inside are going crazy." The customers who ran away were so scared that their souls almost flew away. Don't come over here." At this time, screams of fear were heard from inside. Suddenly, the pedestrians on the street took a step back in fear and looked towards the Qianjian Hall. I wondered what happened to Qianjian Hall. At this moment, a group of people rushed out from the demon hall next door. Everyone was dressed neatly and properly, with a serious look on their faces. What happened? Ji Bochang also walked out of the heavenly demon hall. A concerned and serious look. Seeing the people walking out of the heavenly demon hall, the people on the street were slightly startled, thinking, are these people from the heavenly demon hall? Why do they all look so reliable and upright? Inside, the people in the Qianjian hall suddenly went crazy. The person who escaped met Ji Bochang's gaze and answered subconsciously, stammering. Hearing this, Ji Bochang's face became serious. He said sternly to the group of people from the heavenly demon hall behind him. Go in and save them. Yes. Young master. Upon hearing this, all the people from the heavenly demon hall shouted loudly and then quickly rushed into the heavenly sword hall. This scene caught the eyes of everyone on the street, and they were all slightly startled. Are these people from the heavenly demon hall? Are they from the heavenly demon sect? This is the young master of the demon sect. They felt that the scene before them was particularly incongruous. At the same time, I also feel that the young leader of the demon sect in front of me seems to be a little different from the rumors. Ji Bochang did not stand there in a daze, and rushed into the Qianjian hall where screams were heard. As soon as I entered, I saw horrific scenes. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he immediately mobilized his spiritual energy and rushed towards a Chenjiantang disciple who was holding a guest. He kicked the man away and made him faint. Feeling a lightness on his body, the guest looked at the handsome man beside him with a pale face filled with fear, and a strong feeling of gratitude suddenly emerged in his eyes. This person is his savior and his second parent. In his mind, this description is not an exaggeration at all. What happened just now was the most terrifying thing he had ever experienced in his life. A man actually rushed towards him, a man. The other disciples of the heavenly demon hall also took action immediately and subdued the disciples of the heavenly sword hall who were attacking the guests, giving guests a chance to escape. People on the street looked at the entrance of Tianjian Hall nervously. Seeing that the guests were running away with pale faces filled with fear, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Then the people from the heavenly demon hall quickly evacuated. "Lock the door tightly," Ji Bochang shouted seriously. Yes. The disciples of the heavenly demon hall immediately did as they were told and closed the door of the heavenly sword hall. Then there was a loud banging sound from inside the door. "It's so terrifying." Then the sound disappeared. The Tianjian Hall disciples inside solved the problem with confidence. There are no female disciples inside, only male disciples. Ji Bochang breathed a sigh of relief with a serious face. Then he took a step forward, looked at the people on the street, and said solemnly, "Everyone, a disciple of the heavenly sword hall has been possessed by a demon." Hearing this, everyone on the street had their pupils dilated and was shocked. "Possessed by a demon? But fortunately we arrived in time and no guests were injured." Ji Bochang continued, looking as if nothing had happened. "Uncle Guo, go to the city lord's mansion immediately and report this matter. Let the people in the city lord's mansion handle it." "Yes, young master," Ji Bochang said sternly to his guardian, who then flew up. "Fly towards the city lord's mansion. Benefactor, please accept my greeting." One of the people who was rescued suddenly bowed with a look of gratitude and thanked Ji Bochang. Seeing this, the other people who were rescued also bowed and expressed their gratitude. "No need, no need. It's just a small favor. This kind of thing happened right next to our heavenly demon hall, and our heavenly demon hall is a place dedicated to serving you. It's only right for us to help." Ji Bochang smiled faintly, and then signaled everyone in the demon hall to go back. The pedestrians on the street looked at the neatly organized group of people with stunned expressions. His opinion of the dissolute young leader of the demon sect has completely changed. His opinion of the demonic hall has changed even more, and he has developed a genuine favorable impression of it. After returning to the heavenly demon hall, Ji Bochang said to the excited heavenly demon hall manager, "Immediately, start a 1-week fee halving event, and ask someone to spread the news of what just happened. If you can't seize this opportunity, you really don't have to work anymore and can pack up and leave." Ji Bochang sat on the recliner and said with a serious face, "Yes, young master. I will definitely live up to your expectations." The steward was very excited, and his opinion of the young master in front of him changed completely. With just one move, he made it impossible for the Tianjian Hall to stand up in a short period of time, and at the same time created an unprecedented good opportunity for their Qinmore Hall. "You two, work hard. The reward and punishment mechanism should be very clear, right?" Ji Bochang looked at the disciples of the demon sect behind him who were also looking at him with admiration, and said seriously, "Understood. Young master, rest assured, we will do our best." Especially Wang Qin, he originally planned to come here to fight hard, but when he got here he found that it was completely different from what he thought. "I finally got the chance to leave, but was forced to stay by the young sect leader." As a result, within 10 days, the young sect leader really did what he said and improved the situation here instantly. Chapter 22, The second offspring will surely become the holy demon king of the 9 heavens and myriad worlds in the future. After explaining things to everyone in the demon hall, Ji Bochang left the demon hall and went to the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce alone. Before leaving, he told the manager of the heavenly demon hall that his protector would wait for him here after he returned. At the same time, Ji Bochang was on his way to Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. The Tianjian Hall is. The scene was extremely disgraceful. The things and news here spread quickly in Qianyuan City like a plague. Those guests who were rescued immediately went to the demon hall with tears of gratitude. The unfinished tasks were entrusted to the demon hall. At the same time, the manager immediately found someone to spread the news. He has been doing this for many years and knows all the ins and outs. Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce and Qinmore Hall are both located in the central area of Qianyuan City, so Ji Bochang didn't spend much time to reach Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. After walking in with a swagger, he went straight to the top floor with a swagger, as if he was going back to his own home. The staff of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce did not stop them. After all, Ji Bochang is now the most distinguished member of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. After reaching the top floor, Ji Bochang couldn't help but imagine the woman's perfect body in his mind, and his eyes were burning with passion. Today, I must let her win the prize. Knocked on the door. After a few breaths, someone inside opened the door. Lian Xiaoyao was wearing luxurious and dignified clothes, with a look of both charm and pride on her face. Seeing that it was Ji Bochang standing at the door looking at her with a faint smile on his face, her beautiful eyes suddenly widened slightly, and then a strong and complex expression instantly surged on her face. 10 days ago, after Ji Bochang left, she kept thinking about random things. My mind never stops. I don't have the energy to do anything else. The whole person becomes extremely complicated and strange. Even, I actually had the urge to try again. When she realized what she was thinking, her face immediately turned red with shame, and she kept cursing herself in her heart. And so, 10 days passed. Now that she saw Ji Bochang again, all her complicated emotions came to her mind all at once. President's sister, I'm here. Ji Bochang looked at the beautiful and attractive woman in front of him and smiled faintly. Then he walked in with a swagger, as if he was going home. In response, Lian Xiaoyao gritted her teeth and said nothing. I haven't seen you for 10 days. Sister President seems to have become even more beautiful. The first time I saw her, I felt waves in my heart. After walking in, Ji Bochang turned around and looked at Lian Xiaoyao, speaking sweetly. Hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes trembled slightly, and then she revealed an angry look. Stop talking nonsense and end this disgusting deal immediately, she said angrily and walked towards the inner room. Ji Bochang didn't say anything, just smiled. He just couldn't believe that this woman wasn't surprised and had mixed feelings because of the loosening of the relationship between them and him in that later realm. At this moment, you still have the attitude of a proud president, but in your heart, you have been thinking about it very much for a long time, right? Ji Bo often has this confidence. With a playful smile on his face, he followed. President's sister, then, I will begin. The two of them sat on the edge of the couch, Lian Xiaoyao looking ashamed and humiliated. Ji Bochang reached out and grabbed her fair and delicate hand, speaking softly. Lian Xiaoyao looked ashamed, but she didn't hide away. Hurry up, the sight of you makes me sick. She continued with a look of disgust, with a complicated expression mixed in with her disgust. But when Ji Bochang saw this look, it made him even more excited. Okay, I hope you can keep this expression forever. Thinking in his mind, Ji Bochang pressed her down in a domineering manner and blocked her lips. Successful cultivation, practicing the Heavenly Emperor's technique. Successful cultivation, practicing the Heavenly Emperor's technique. Successful cultivation, practicing the Heavenly Emperor's technique. Just like that, after about 4 hours, the sky had changed from morning to afternoon, and the sun was about to set. The sun sets. Congratulations to their host, for successfully making your disciple Lian Xiaoyao pregnant with the host's child. Special reward for their host, Holy Demon Heart and Holy Demon Bone. Specially rewarded to apprentice Lian Xiaoyao for evolving his Saint Demon body into Saint Demon Mysterious body, and rewarded with the Saint Demon Mysterious Yin Gong, and the Fetal Care Technique, Saint Demon Emperor Fetal Care Technique. The offspring raised will surely become the Saint Demon Emperor of the myriad demons in the 9 heavens and myriad worlds in the future. Host, Ji Bochang. Age, 20 years old. Appearance, handsome. Constitution, Devil's Mad Body, Emperor's Yarn Body. God level, Holy Demon's Heart, Holy Demon's Bones. Realm, 8th level of Spiritual Mortal Realm, 9th level of Spiritual Mortal Realm. Skills, Heavenly Emperor Skills. God level. Magical power, 9 transformations of the Devil. God level. Moves, Vast Divine Sword Technique. God level. Mysterious Divine Footwork. God level. Items, Vast Divine Sword. God level, even Asa would go crazy if she smells it. 9, Divine Escape Talisman. 10, Curse Talisman. 8, 40,000 Top Grade Spiritual Stones. Offspring, 0.52. Apprentice, Ji Yuqingxue Lian Xiaoyao. Apprentice, Lian Xiaoyao. Demon Clan Identity. Age, 124 years old. Realm, Lesser Saint Realm, 9th level. Greater Saint Realm, 1st level. Appearance, fairy-like appearance. Physique, born with a charming body, Holy Demon body. Holy Demon Mysterious Yin body. Skill, Holy Demon Mysterious Yin skill. Fetal care technique, Saint Demon King fetal care technique. Give birth to offspring, 0.5. Host, please take good care of the pregnant woman during her pregnancy. This will help her give birth to a healthy child. When this child is born, he will surely become the holy demon king of the 9 heavens and myriad worlds. Listening to the endless sounds of the system and the interface appearing in front of me, Ji Bochang was so happy. The heart of the holy demon, the bones of the holy demon. In an instant, he felt changes in his body, as if he had been reborn. The strength of his body had absolutely increased dramatically. Will this offspring be able to become the holy demon king of the 9 heavens and myriad worlds in the future? Wow, this is so terrifying. Ji Bochang's descendants will surely become emperors in the future. This offspring will directly become the holy demon king of the 9 heavens and myriad worlds. Har 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 har, since you have such an awesome offspring, why do you still need to be afraid of a tiny Xiao Yarn? Or do you still need to be afraid of the laws of this world? At the same time, rewards kept ringing in Ji Bochang's mind, and the interface appeared in front of him. Changes also began to take place in Lian Xiaoyao. Lian Xiaoyao's face was flushed with shock and disbelief. Chapter 23, Thunder strikes suddenly. Ji Bochang is extremely anxious and forcibly activates the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon. Lian Xiaoyao felt the changes in her body and something suddenly popped up in her mind. Holy Demon Shenyan Gong? Holy Demon Emperor Pregnancy Care Technique? My physique has also changed, becoming as if. Shenyan Body? Holy Demon Shenyan Body? My own Holy Demon body has become suitable for dual cultivation. And. Surprisingly, this physique can actually allow pregnant women to. During. Feeling what was in her mind, Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes widened, her eyelashes trembled, and her face was filled with shock and disbelief. At the same time, a sense of shame emerged on his face. Then, the energy in her body began to surge uncontrollably. This is a precursor to entering the realm of great sainthood. Yao Yao, you are about to break through. Ji Bochang could feel the breath surging from Lian Xiaoyao's body beside him, and said with surprise, holding her fair and delicate little hand. Even the way she was addressed changed to Yao Yao. You? How do you know my name? Lian Xiaoyao first looked at Ji Bochang with surprise, but then immediately dispelled this doubt, sat cross-legged, practiced his own skills, and began to prepare for a breakthrough with all his heart. At the same time, above Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, strange phenomena began to appear in heaven and earth. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered, thunderclouds exploded, and strong winds blew. It was as if the end of the world had come. Hearing the noise outside, Ji Bochang was slightly startled and immediately got out of bed to look outside. This is the thunder tribulation that one must go through to enter the realm of great saint. Oh no, because it happened too sudden, Lian Xiaoyao couldn't temporarily suppress the force that was about to break through. Suddenly, he was about to enter the realm of great saint and endure the tribulation of thunder. Yao Yao, are you prepared? Can you handle it? Ji Bochang turned around and asked with a concerned look on his face. Lian Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was practicing his skills with an urgent look on his face. His aura was powerful and he had already stepped halfway into the realm of great saint. A bright light suddenly appeared all over the body. The divine will is infinite. Obviously, he was not prepared. It all happened so suddenly. According to her own estimate, she would have to practice for dozens or even hundreds of years before she could hope to break into the great saint realm. As a result, Ji Bochang's sudden appearance shortened the process to an extremely exaggerated degree. I'm fine, get out of the way. Lian Xiaoyao said stubbornly. Seeing this, Ji Bochang suddenly became anxious. He looked up at the thunderclouds gathering in the sky outside. This one do. Nothing can happen to my woman and my child. At the same time, outside the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, in a large area in the central area of Qianxian City with the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce as the center, everyone looked up at the strange color in the sky, all of them showed expressions of fear and shock, and immediately fled in all directions. This is it. Someone is going to go through a thunder tribulation. This kind of scene must be the thunder tribulation of entering the great saint realm, right? Who is it? Some powerful person. There were rumbling thunders in the sky and the heaven and earth changed dramatically. Thunderclouds have gathered and taken shape. Boom! A bolt of lightning fell from the sky, carrying with it unstoppable power. It seems as if everything in this world will be destroyed. At the same time, at the top floor of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, a powerful aura of a saint emerged, causing everyone around to suddenly feel respect in their hearts and look up. The top floor of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce was broken in an instant. A powerful holy will, carrying an unusual aura, condensed into a series of spiritual walls above the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Boom! The thunder struck with a deafening sound. After breaking through two spiritual walls, there was no remaining power. Seeing this, Ji Bochang became extremely anxious. The thunder did not stop at all, and the second thunder quickly fell. Its power is even greater than the previous thunder. Boom! This time, the thunder shattered three spiritual walls. It was obvious that the regeneration speed of the spiritual walls was slower than that of the broken ones. Lian Xiaoyao's face showed a complex and struggling expression. She didn't dare to release her strength wantonly, for fear of disturbing the fetus. Logically speaking, what she promised Ji Bochang was only to give him a child. If the child were lost at this moment due to unexpected factors beyond her control, she would not suffer any punishment from heaven. But, somehow, she couldn't do it. He couldn't be so cruel. She didn't want anything to happen to her child. Boom! The thunder continued to strike without interruption, each one more terrifying than the last. Seeing that the spiritual wall condensed by Lian Xiaoyao was getting smaller and smaller, with only 5 layers left, Ji Bochang became completely anxious. He activated the Heavenly Emperor's technique with all his strength, and suddenly golden spiritual energy appeared around his body, pure and rich. At the same time, the demonic mad body and the Emperor Yang body trigger the physical bonus at the same time. A violent purple demonic energy and a hot and pure Yang energy surged around his body. In an instant, he was half devil and half Yang. At the same time, the holy demon heart and the holy demon bones also take effect at the same time. His heart and bones suddenly lit up, making his skin and flesh shine. A mysterious and indescribable aura surged out of his body. Lian Xiaoyao, who had a complicated and struggling expression on her face, opened her beautiful eyes wide in surprise after feeling this breath and looked at Ji Bochang. After feeling his exaggerated power at this moment, her beautiful eyes trembled violently and her face was filled with shock. He is clearly only at the 9th level of the mortal realm, so why, his strength is comparable to that of a king? That's not all. Ji Bochang activated the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon without hesitation, and suddenly his whole body was filled with demonic energy, and his eyes were filled with scarlet blood. The power once again began to surge and increase dramatically with exaggerated concepts. The momentum soars to the sky. At the same time, the thunder in the sky did not stop because of his changes, and kept falling on the only 3 remaining spiritual walls in the air. It seemed that all the spiritual walls were about to be broken and fall on Lian Xiaoyao, who was just pregnant. It is detected that their host is forcibly activating the 9 transformations of the heavenly demon. The body has exceeded the load. Please stop immediately. The second transformation of the devil. Ji Bochang ignored the system's prompts. The aura around him surged again, and demonic energy surged. Seeing him like this, Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes trembled violently, and her eyes were filled with emotion. Stop! She felt that Ji Bochang was doing something very dangerous at the moment, and immediately shouted with a panicked and complicated look on her face. Boom! There are only 2 spiritual walls left. The 3 transformations of the heavenly demon. Ji Bochang's surging aura did not stop, and he forced his way into the 3rd transformation of the heavenly demon, which was currently not accessible. Suddenly, the aura around him surged again, and the demonic energy spread out. A monstrous demonic energy caused the pupils of everyone around the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce to shrink suddenly, revealing expressions of terrified fear. I was so scared that my hair stood on end, my heart beat rapidly, and I felt like I would die at any time. It felt like an invisible hand was grabbing my heart. This kind of evil aura can only be emitted by an old devil who has lived for at least 1,000 years. Chapter 24, A Sword Seals the Sky. Strange phenomena occur, shocking Qianyuan City. The overwhelming demonic energy made everyone around the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce tremble in fear, not daring to breathe. The aura emanating from Ji Bochang also surged again at this moment, reaching the terrifying level of a lesser saint. The thunder from the sky was still bombarding, and had already blasted the spiritual wall gathered by Lian Xiaoyao down to only 1 layer left. Seeing that Ji Bochang's strength was still increasing at an exaggerated speed, he had already reached the level of a lesser saint. Lian Xiaoya's beautiful eyes trembled violently, and her face was filled with complexity and emotion. Stop! Do you want to die? She looked at Ji Bochang, whose body was about to collapse from being unable to withstand the huge amount of energy in his body, and shouted anxiously. At the same time, he did not forget to continue to use his skills to the best of his ability to create a spiritual wall in the sky. Boom! Another bolt of thunder struck, and the final spiritual wall was completely broken. And new thunders were about to gather and thundered in the sky. I'm fine. Ji Bochang felt severe pain all over his body. He gritted his teeth and held on, his eyes already filled with bloodshot. Then he took out the Kangmang sword. He began to gather the violent spiritual energy in his body into the Kangmang divine sword. At the same time, he looked up at the thunderclouds in the sky. Looking at the long sword in Ji Bochang's hand and the violent energy gathered in it, Lian Xiaoyao was once again particularly shocked. What kind of secret is hidden in him? Why was he able to forcibly raise his strength from the 9th level of the mortal realm to a level comparable to the 5th or 6th level of the lesser saint realm? Lian Xiaoyao was certain that the next attack Ji Bochang was going to launch would definitely be able to withstand the thunder that was about to fall from the sky. In other words, the move that Ji Bochang is going to perform next is comparable to a perfect attack from a lesser saint. This is an exaggerated concept that others would not even dare to think about. How old is Ji Bochang? 20 at most. Is the man in front of me really the playboy who does nothing and is idle all day long as rumored? Looking at the handsome man in front of her, Lian Xiaoya's beautiful eyes trembled, her heartbeat slightly accelerated, and an unprecedented feeling surged in her heart. Why? She was puzzled. Why would you risk your life to force yourself to increase your strength? Isn't it just for fun? Boom boom boom. The thunder in the sky gathered together, and burst out with unstoppable power, smashing towards the bottom. Ji Bochang's eyes were bloodshot, his teeth were clenched, blood was flowing out of his mouth, and his skin turned red with blood flowing out. He tightly grasped the vast divine sword in his hand, which gathered huge energy, tensed all the muscles in his body, pushed off his feet, jumped high, and then slashed upwards fiercely. Suddenly, an extremely domineering and huge energy burst out, and the aftermath caused a large area around the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce to be filled with strong winds and raging aftermath. A huge pure golden sword energy burst out, like a crescent moon, huge and dazzling. It collided head-on with the thunder that fell from above. Boom! The aftermath swept through again, instantly dispersing the thunderclouds in the sky, and suddenly the sky was cloudless. After 2 breaths of balance, the thunder shattered and the energy dissipated into the air. The sword energy that Ji Bochang swung out still carried considerable power as it rushed towards the ball of thunder in the sky. It seems to split the world into 2 halves. This attack clearly had the power of a half-step great saint. It was an attack that Ji Bochang launched with all his strength, risking his life. Break it for me! Ji Bo often shouted loudly to the sky, with great momentum. For a moment, strange phenomena appeared between heaven and earth. It seemed as if the shadow of a demon covered half the sky, and the shadow of a holy demon was hovering in the air. The desolate sword intent remained in the area where the sword energy passed through in mid-air, and a mysterious light flashed. Finally, a ray of golden light even appeared from the sky, as if there was a phantom of a heavenly emperor above the sky, looking down at all living beings. At the same time, the sword energy, still carrying great power, also hit the thunderball in the sky. As if assisted by a god, its might surged again, instantly destroying the thunderball in the sky. Bang! A deafening sound came from the sky, and at the same time, an extremely violent energy swept out, instantly dispersing all the clouds above Qianyuan City. The thunderbolt was blown up alive. Then everything returned to calm, the strange shadow dissipated, the golden light dissipated, only the sword intent in the sky still remained, drifting away in all directions. The sky is cloudless, clear and blue. Everything returned to calm. Seeing all this happen with their own eyes, the people of Qianyuan City were all stunned, staring at the sky in a daze. Perhaps they will never have the chance to see a phenomenon of this magnitude in their lifetime. After seeing it today, some people even had a sudden realization in their hearts, and felt that their realm of mind had loosened. At the same time, at the Heavenly Demon Hall, the people in the Heavenly Demon Hall saw it all happen and were shocked and dumbfounded. Everyone, don't worry. If anything happens in our Heavenly Demon Hall, we have people from the heavenly demon hall standing in front of us. The steward reacted immediately and spoke to the frightened guests in the sky demon hall. That's right, in just a few hours, the demon hall regained its glory and attracted a constant stream of customers. The Chenjian hall next door was temporarily sealed off a few hours ago by Ji Bochang's protectors who were brought from the city lord's mansion. When the people in the city lord's mansion saw the situation inside, they couldn't help but gasp and couldn't bear to look at it. Is that the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce? Is there anything wrong with the young master? The guardian looked in the distance with a worried look on his face. Who caused this horrific vision and the terrifying sword energy in the sky? Who is going through the tribulation in Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce? That evil spirit was so terrifying that I felt trembling in fear and didn't dare to even think of resisting. Who is this person? I'm afraid that in the entire Chenxian continent, only our sect master can release such terrifying demonic energy, right? The Dharma protectors and disciples of the heavenly demon hall were extremely shocked. They had never seen such a terrifying demonic aura. And the strange phenomenon on that day was so terrifying. Half of the sky was covered by a shadow of a demon. The guardian even directly activated the communication talisman to send a message to Ji Bochang's old father, not daring to be negligent in the slightest. Next door is Chenjian Hall. Chenjian Hall was temporarily sealed off, and the disciples inside who had gone crazy after smelling the sow had long since come to their senses. They all looked depressed, as if they were dead, and their eyes had lost their luster. But after experiencing the terrifying shock just now, he immediately woke up. Liu Yu, an inner sect disciple of Chenjian sect, witnessed the sword energy erupting from the sky and the sword intent spreading in the sky. He was immediately forced to wake up. He had no time to be depressed and immediately activated the communication talisman to send a message to the elders of his own sect. Chapter 25. Lian Xiaoyao is extremely heartbroken, and Ji Bochang is on the verge of death and reborn. The top floor of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. I watched with my own eyes as the thunder in the sky dissipated and everything returned to calm. A faint smile emerged on Ji Bochang's tired and weak face, and the power that was violently overflowing from his body dissipated in an instant like a deflated balloon. Then he suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood, lost consciousness, and fell backwards. Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes trembled violently. She immediately came behind him, knelt on the ground, hugged his extremely weak body, held him in her arms, her face full of worry and emotion. As her beautiful eyes trembled, a layer of mist appeared uncontrollably in them. At this moment, her mood was extremely complicated. I watched as Ji Bochang's body collapsed bit by bit. Without hesitation, she activated the holy demon energy in her body and poured it into Ji Bochang's body. You are not allowed to die, bastard, she said aggrievedly, mist welling up in her beautiful eyes and tears falling from the corners of her eyes. It can be seen that as the original holy demon energy in her body enveloped Ji Bochang's body, the speed of Ji Bochang's physical collapse was obviously alleviated. But it doesn't end there. Ji Bochang's body was still slowly collapsing. He forcefully activated the 3 transformations of the heavenly demon, which was obviously beyond his current physical condition's ability to withstand. If he had not just obtained the holy demon heart and holy demon bones, he would have died the moment he forcibly performed the 3 transformations of the heavenly demon. But even so, he did it at the risk of his life. Why does he want to become stronger and defeat Xiao Yan, the son of destiny? What is it for? Is it to survive? Don't want to be killed by the plot? No. Absolutely not. If you live your life again, you can do and obtain all the things that were unattainable and unimaginable in your previous life in this life. Now that you have a noble status, you no longer need to please others, you no longer need to kowtow, and you no longer need to work hard to earn enough money to eat. You have top-notch talent and a system that works like a plug-in. You don't need to work yourself to death only to find out in the end that your efforts are not as good as what others have achieved in a short period of time. I have a godlike perspective and unprecedented self-confidence. I don't want to lose this self-confidence, and I cannot lose it. After living a new life, he has so many things that he could not even think about in his previous life. His desire is for more than just being able to avoid being killed by the plot, to defeat Xiao Yan, and to survive. In this life, he wanted to make sure that he no longer had to look at other people's faces when doing things, no longer had to be servile, no longer had to be bound by class, and no longer had to be crushed by life. He must become stronger and stronger, so that he can do everything he wants, protect his woman, dare to love and hate, be free and unrestrained, and not be bound or imprisoned by any framework. He wants to be the one and only ruler and never let anyone dominate him, control him, or restrain him. This is his real ambition in his heart when he lives his new life. But if he had been timid just now and had no courage to protect his woman and his children, then how could all this be possible? Courage, he needs the courage to face any difficulties and obstacles. He must never be a coward again. Even if he died, he would never be a coward again. Seeing that even though she was unable to activate the original holy demon energy, Ji Bochang's broken body could not be stopped from breaking down, Lian Xiao's beautiful eyes trembled violently. The tears in her eyes kept dripping like pearls from a broken string, dripping onto Ji Bochang's face. She didn't know why, but she felt extremely uncomfortable, as if there was a huge rock blocking her heart. Don't die. Please. Lian Xiao kept pouring his own holy demon energy into Ji Bochang's body, but it only slowed down the speed of Ji Bochang's physical body's collapse. Ji Bochang had already lost consciousness and was lying in her arms. Subconsciously, I felt like I was back in my mother's arms. Especially warm, especially safe. Very comfortable. I want to lie here forever and never wake up again. It is detected that the host's life signs are disappearing. Please wake up immediately and use the holy demon Shenyan body of the apprentice Lian Xiao to repair yourself. It is detected that the host's life signs are disappearing. Please wake up immediately and use the holy demon Shenyan body of the apprentice Lian Xiao to repair yourself. The system kept ringing in Ji Bochang's mind. However, at this moment Ji Bochang could not receive any messages from the system at all. But at this moment, a white light suddenly appeared in the silent and dark subconscious mind, shining towards Ji Bochang. He frowned slightly, very resistant, wanting to just sleep like this and not being disturbed. Don't die. Please. Then a sad and worried voice came in. It made him frown even more tightly, and the expression on his face became particularly struggling. As if he was struggling with something, he wanted to wake up. Then the white light became more and more dazzling, accompanied by a mysterious and yin energy, rushing towards him. With the influx of white light and dark yin energy, he felt his body suddenly become extremely hot, and the yuan yang energy in his body was consciously mobilized. So comfortable. Ji Bochang murmured to himself subconsciously, and his struggling expression was relieved and turned into comfort. At the same time, the collapse of his physical body did not continue, and began to slowly recover. Tianyuan City Lord's mansion. The moment he felt the thunder tribulation coming, the City Lord Jushin flew out of the City Lord's mansion with a vigilant look on his face and headed towards the direction of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. But before arriving at the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, he saw an exaggerated scene. I saw the sword energy that Ji Bochang swung out, and the strange phenomenon that followed. He was shocked on the spot, looking at the various strange phenomena in the sky. Immediately afterwards, the thundercloud was defeated. He wanted to go to the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce to see what was going on, but when he got close to the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce, he saw that the entire Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce was covered by an invisible white cover. He could not see what was going on inside, nor could he detect the breath inside. Is it true that the president of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce has broken through to the Great Saint Realm? But where did those terrifying visions come from? Tianyuan City Lord Jushin was shocked and felt it was extremely unbelievable. It would be a miracle if even one of those signs could be produced. Who could have created so many of them? Could it be the president of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce? The City Lord Jushin was confused and shocked, but he had no way of finding out what was going on. The Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce is so well protected that no one, not only him, can get a glimpse of what's going on inside. Chapter 26. Zhongzhou was alarmed, and the powerful emperors were shocked and rushed to Tianyuan City. What happened in Tianyuan City immediately caused a sensation in the entire Zhongzhou. The speed of spread is extremely fast. All the disciples in Tianyuan City reported what happened here back to their own forces as soon as possible. The four major sects in Zhongzhou are the Qianmo sect, Tianjian sect, Kunlun sect, and Chaoyang sect. People from the four major sects quickly received the news. Demonic sect. The overwhelming demonic energy? The demon's phantom occupies half the sky. After receiving the message from Ji Bochang's guardian, Ji Bochang's old father Ji Shaishan's face suddenly changed and was filled with shock. As the leader of the demonic sect, how could he not know this concept? He had only done this kind of thing once before. It was on the day when he broke through to the great saint realm that the shadow of the heavenly demon occupied half the sky. How is this possible? Ji Bochang was extremely shocked, his pupils trembled, and his mood could not be described in words. In the entire Qianxian continent, apart from Ji Bochang's bloodline that can inherit his demonic body and create such a strange phenomenon, who else can do it? He immediately jumped up and flew towards Qianyuan city at full speed, his face full of shock and disbelief. The 9th level of the Great Saint Realm's cultivation was fully displayed at this moment, and he rushed towards the heavenly demon sect at the fastest speed. At this moment, a jade pendant on his waist suddenly vibrated violently. Feeling the vibration of the jade pendant, his eyes widened in surprise, his pupils shrank in confusion, and his face was full of astonishment. This was the medium through which he endowed Ji Bochang with the aura of a saint. It will be activated when Ji Bochang's life is in danger. The jade pendant was shaking at this moment, which meant that his son's life was in danger. Ji Bochang's emotions suddenly became extremely excited, his pupils trembled violently, and his face was full of fear and surprise. Immediately afterwards, a chilling aura of great sage pressure burst out from his body uncontrollably, and instantly the heaven and earth changed color. The monstrous demonic energy spread out, causing the birds and beasts below to instantly collapse to the ground, foaming at the mouth and shaking their bodies. Immediately afterwards, Ji Bochang continued to fly out like a ray of light, flying towards Qianyuan city at full speed. Ji Bochang was now his only concern, as he was the only child of him and his deceased wife. If anything bad happened to Ji Bochang, he would go crazy. Tianjian sect. After receiving the message, Tianjian sect's leader Shindaozi was also surprised. I saw a white-haired old man with a stern and ethereal look standing on the top of the mountain, looking at the sky. Just standing there, their whole person looked like a sword, giving people a sharp and unstoppable feeling. Raging sword intent. Rising sword energy. After the sword moves were performed, the pure sword intent still spread throughout the sky. Not only that, but there was also a demon shadow covering half the sky. There was also a strange shadow that had never been seen before. There was also a golden hole in the sky. It seemed that there was a shadow of the Emperor of Heaven looking down. Is this true? He didn't even dare to think about it. But he did not hesitate at all, and immediately soared into the sky, and suddenly a sharp and bleak sword intent emerged. Shindaozi had practiced swordsmanship for thousands of years and believed that his talent in swordsmanship was unmatched in the world. However, it was only after he reached the great sage realm that he was able to practice swordsmanship to the point where there was no room for improvement. Only then can you perform sword moves while retaining the purest sword intent. Who is this person? Shindaozi, the leader of the Tianjian sect, was extremely curious and flew towards Qianyuan city at full speed, with the true form of the sword spirit appearing around him. The leader of Kunlun sect was in seclusion and did not receive the message, but the elders immediately set out and rushed towards Qianyuan city. Inside Chaoyarn sect. The leader of Chaoyarn sect was sitting in the main hall, his face filled with shock, his eyes almost popping out. A golden light suddenly appeared in the sky. The shadow of the Emperor of Heaven is looking down. How is this possible? Who in this world can create such a strange phenomenon? I saw a tall, strong, middle-aged man sitting on a chair, talking to himself in shock and disbelief. As the leader of Chaoyarn sect, he possesses the holy Yang body. He is full of Yang energy when he is free and has extraordinary talent. But he had never created such a strange phenomenon in heaven and earth, or in his understanding, such a phenomenon was simply impossible to exist. It can only exist in mythology. He immediately took off without hesitation and flew towards Qianyuan city at full speed. A golden light suddenly appeared all around him, as if to burn the sky ashes. These three sect leaders are all at the 9th level of the Great Saint Realm. He is the most powerful person in this world. But even so, after learning about the strange phenomena in heaven and earth created by Ji Bochang, he was shocked and rushed to Qianyuan city as soon as possible. It can be seen how exaggerated the visions created by Ji Bochang are. In the southeast of Zhongzhou in Qianxian continent, there is a mountain that rises high into the clouds, so high that the end cannot be seen with the naked eye. This mountain is the holy mountain of Zhongzhou, and it is also the place where the empress who is respected by everyone in Qianxian continent resides. She has lived on this holy mountain for who knows how many years, and has never appeared in the eyes of the world again. Every 10 years, she would open the holy mountain to bless. People from the 5 continents of Qianxian continent can come and participate. The higher you can climb, the greater the blessings you can receive. Moreover, the blessing of this holy mountain is only open to those below the lesser holy realm. Back then, when Ji Bochang's father was still young, he created the highest climbing record ever created by his predecessors with the strength of the 9th level of the Venerable King realm. From that day on, he made rapid progress, and no one could stop his talent. At the same time, on the holy mountain, the air is filled with spiritual energy and the melodious chirping of birds can be heard in the woods. The middle of the mountain reaches the clouds, like a fairyland. At the top of the holy mountain, the spiritual energy is even more intense. A gorgeous and natural building sits on the top of a mountain, like a paradise. Inside the building, a woman with an extraordinary temperament, like a banished immortal, wearing a plain white gauze dress, sat on a wooden chair. Just by sitting there, her unique aura emanates from her body, like that of a goddess who cannot be desecrated. She can only be admired from afar, but not touched. Her face is like a fairy, perfect to the extreme, and cannot be described in words. There is probably no man in this world who can fail to be stunned and heart-beaten the moment he sees her. His face was calm and expressionless, without any emotion fluctuations, but even so, it was better than all the beautiful pictures in the world. In the blink of an eye, a sense of alienation arose in those beautiful eyes. Like a fairy who is not of this world. She is the master here. The only female emperor in Qianxian continent, and the only powerful emperor. Mu Qingcheng. Chapter 27, The Three Great Masters Gather. The Queen of Zhongzhou, Mu Qingcheng, looked into the distance, and a different color suddenly appeared in her beautiful eyes. Qianyuan City. The lord of Qianyuan City and the patriarchs of the two major families rushed to the top of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Looking at the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce covered by the white opaque barrier, they all had surprise on their faces. This demon phantom, I'm afraid only Ji Bochang can create it. Besides him, who else can create it? But the remaining sword intent after performing that sword move, only Shindeozi can do it, right? The golden light phenomenon in the sky and another phenomenon are unprecedented. So who created all this? The patriarchs of the two major families were now miraculously talking to each other. The relationship between the two families has become particularly strained in recent years due to some interests. Right at this moment, an overwhelming demonic energy surged from the north. This caused the two men and Qianyuan City Lord Jushin to be slightly startled. They immediately came to their senses and turned to look in the direction where the evil energy came from. Ji Bochang. I didn't expect him to come so soon. At the end of the demonic energy, a small black dot flew towards this side at an exaggerated speed and arrived in front of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce in an instant. Who else could the person coming be if not Ji Bochang? When Ji Bochang arrived, he immediately looked at the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce covered by a white cover with a worried, anxious and manic look on his face. At this moment, the jade pendant on his waist suddenly stopped vibrating. Seeing this, Ji Bochang's expression froze, and then the big stone hanging in his heart fell down all of a sudden, and his slightly manic expression was relieved. Very good. He talked to himself, his eyes trembling slightly, and his fists clenched. It can be seen how anxious and nervous he was as he rushed here at full speed. When the jade pendant stopped vibrating, it meant that the signs of Ji Bochang's life being in danger had disappeared. If something really happened to Ji Bochang, the jade pendant would be broken directly. Master Ji. Feeling the demonic energy and pressure still emanating from Ji Bochang, the two clan leaders and the city lord of the city lord's mansion all felt that their breathing was a little difficult. Seeing Ji Bochang coming so eagerly, some ideas came to their minds. Hearing the shouts of the three people, Ji Bochang came to his senses and quickly restrained the demonic energy and pressure that he was emitting uncontrollably. The lord of Ju City, the lord of the Zhao family, the lord of the Wang family. Ji Bochang nodded slightly to the other two and called out in a low voice. After calming down, he immediately resumed his posture as the leader of a sect. And there is a high probability that his son is inside this white cover at the moment. He was extremely excited because based on all the information he had now, he felt that it was his son who had done all that. Although this sounds extremely exaggerated and ridiculous, he had personally felt that Ji Bochang's cultivation had only reached the mortal realm a few days ago. But maybe it was intuition, or maybe it was the telepathy between father and son. He just felt that all of that was created by his son. I heard from my sect that a terrifying phenomenon had occurred in Qianyuan City, so I rushed here as soon as possible. Do you know what happened? Ji Bochang immediately got rid of all the strange expressions on his face and pretended to know nothing. Seeing how he changed so much in an instant, the three of them were also muttering in their hearts, but on the surface they said naturally. Currently, it is speculated that the president of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce should be going through the Great Saint Realm Thunder Tribulation. As for who created those strange phenomena, it is unknown. I don't think it was created by the president of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Oh. Hearing this, Ji Bochang said, "Oh," and looked thoughtful. I came here immediately after hearing about the strange phenomenon of a demon shadow covering half the sky. Who can create such a strange phenomenon and at the same time create several other amazing phenomena? I don't know. I don't know if the person who created the strange phenomenon is among them at this moment. Ji Bochang was talking to the three people, when at this moment, a bleak and sharp sword intent came from the east. Before anyone arrives, the breath of a top strong man arrives first. All four of them turned their heads to look immediately. The person who came was none other than the leader of the Chenjian sect, Shindaozi. At the same time, a pure yang energy surged from the south. The leader of Chaoyang sect, Fang Tian. At one time, three top powerful men gathered in Chenyuan city. This is the first time something like this has happened in recent decades. Shindaozi was like a holy sword, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of the people. After seeing Ji Bochang arriving, Shindaozi was a little surprised. The relationship between the two seemed a little stiff and awkward. "Sect Master Shin, you are here too." The lord of Chenyuan city said this, and at the same time, Fang Tian, the leader of Chaoyang sect, also approached the few people, looking anxious. "Sect Master Fang." Chenyuan city Lord Jushin felt like it was New Year's Day, as Chenyuan city actually gathered these three most powerful people at the same time. "Lord Jushin, where is the person who created that strange phenomenon?" The leader of Chaoyang sect asked very bluntly, his eyes filled with passion and excitement. The leader of Chenjian sect, Shindaozi, appeared to be relatively calm and serious, and only nodded slightly at the lord of Chenyuan city. "Sect Master Fang, I don't know either." Then, Chenyuan city Lord Jushin briefly explained the situation to the two of them. The leader of Chaoyang sect immediately looked at the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce covered by the white hood with fiery eyes and said anxiously, "Let's break this barrier and see what's going on." The leader of the Chenjian sect, Shindaozi, was also very curious about the person who created all that, but he did not agree. Because at this moment, the president of Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce may be at an important juncture of breaking through or consolidating his cultivation. It is obviously inappropriate to forcibly break the barrier at this time. Hearing Fang Tian's words, a cold look immediately appeared in Ji Bochang's eyes. "Master Fang, you absolutely cannot do this. This is the critical moment for the president of the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce to break through." Hearing this, Chaoyang sect's leader Fang Tian still looked anxious. If the remaining sword intent only shocked Shintozi, it had not yet reached the level of madness. The shadow of the Emperor of Heaven had already driven him crazy. "It's okay, the Thunder Tribulation has been overcome." Fang Tian, the leader of Chaoyang sect, said anxiously, and wanted to destroy the barrier to find out what was going on. "You dare!" But at this moment, a cold and low roar came from behind him. In an instant, the atmosphere became extremely tense, as if the air had stagnated. Upon seeing this, Chenyuan city Lord Jushin's eyes widened in surprise and his heart beat so fast that it almost jumped out of his throat. "Har!" Fang Tian was slightly surprised and turned to look at Ji Bochang behind him. Then a look of annoyance appeared on his face. He was about to say something, but immediately, the words were stuck at his lips. He changed his words and said, "Ji Bochang, what does it have to do with you?" Chapter 28, Ji Bochang wakes up, Lian Xiaoyao entrusts his life to him, and the holy demon bone is upgraded. "What does it have to do with me? I am here today, so no one can act rashly." Ji Bochang responded domineeringly, looking coldly at the leader of Chaoyang sect in front of him, with a hint of pressure emanating from him. "You?" Chaoyang sect leader Fang Tian showed an unhappy look on his face, and also released a little bit of pressure and aura. Suddenly, the entire Chenyuan city felt like it was falling into an ice cellar. Seeing this, Chenyuan city Lord Jushin turned pale and urged urgently, "Please calm down, both of you." Chenjian sect's leader Shindaozi also frowned slightly and said in a calm voice, "If you act rashly, innocent people will surely be harmed. If you want to fight, go somewhere else." Hearing this, Chaoyarn sect's leader Fang Qian calmed down and dispersed the pressure and aura that was slightly emanating from his body. I thought that if that person was really inside, I would be able to see him when the barrier was broken, so there was no need to rush. Seeing that he said no more and dissipated the fluctuations of his aura, Ji Bochang also dissipated the aura and pressure he had released. His son is inside now, how could he allow outsiders to disturb him? It turned out that the assist from this old father was indeed very helpful. At this moment, inside the Nanfeng Chamber of Commerce. Top floor. Lian Xiaoyao was seen kneeling on the ground, holding Ji Bochang in her arms, gently stroking his hair, her beautiful eyes filled with tenderness. There was also a rosy color on her cheeks. At this moment, Ji Bochang's injuries had completely recovered, and his complexion had improved. He lay in her arms with a look of relief on his face. The air is filled with an ambiguous, charming, and licentious atmosphere. Obviously something happened. Congratulations to their host, you have survived the risk of death with the help of your disciple Lian Xiaoyao. Their host's cultivation has been successfully upgraded to the first level of the Dao Lord realm. My disciple Lian Xiaoyao also successfully broke through to the first level of the Great Saint realm, and the fetus in her belly is also healthy and not affected at all. I can only say tai cool. Listening to their voice in his head, Ji Bochang's eyelids moved slightly, and then he slowly opened his eyes. There was a bleary-eyed look in his eyes, as if he had just woken up from a dream. The moment he opened his eyes, what he saw was Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful body and tender face. Ji Bochang hummed as if he had not yet woken up. Then he put his arms around Lian Xiaoyao's waist and kissed her on the waist. This somewhat stupid and nonsensical action made Lian Xiaoyao's delicate body tremble slightly and she let out a soft cry. Then she pursed her lips, tenderness overflowing in her beautiful eyes, and reached out to hug his head. At this moment, her heart was completely filled with an unprecedented feeling. This is the feeling of being moved. Why did you risk your life to save me? Lian Xiaoyao asked softly. She had the answer in her heart, but she was still very much looking forward to Ji Bochang's answer. After hearing this, Ji Bochang finally came to his senses. His eyes regained clarity and depth, and he rubbed his face against Lian Xiaoyao's belly again. It smells nice and comfortable. The moment before he lost consciousness, he really felt that he was doomed this time. But he doesn't regret it at all. The fact is that his courage gave him good feedback and good results. He felt the gentle embrace at this moment and felt warm in his heart. This feeling of surviving a disaster is really amazing. Because you are my woman and you are carrying my child. Ji Bochang raised his eyes to look at Lian Xiaoyao and smiled softly. His handsome face makes people feel like spring breeze. After surviving the disaster, Ji Bochang's face became less frivolous and casual, and more calm and serious. It's like waking up after a night's sleep. Even if you maintain one appearance all day long, the moment you wake up, you will only show your true self. Looking into Ji Bochang's eyes, Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes trembled slightly, and there was endless love in her beautiful eyes. She had lived for so many years and had never felt such a strong sense of happiness. Why am I your woman? I didn't promise you that I would be your woman. But even so, she still said it proudly. Acting as if it is not something that can be obtained so easily. Unexpectedly, as soon as she finished speaking, Ji Bochang pressed her down under him in a domineering manner, with his palms on the floor on both sides of her cheeks, looking down at her with a domineering look. His eyes were instantly filled with aggression and a strong possessiveness. Lian Xiaoyao's beautiful eyes widened slightly, the frequency of her blinking increased, and her heartbeat accelerated, as if a deer was beating wildly. You are mine. Ji Bochang's eyes were filled with heat, and he said forcefully, then he possessed and invaded her rosy and attractive lips. Tilde. Feeling Ji Bochang's scorching heat, Lian Xiaoyao's breathing became slightly heavier. She felt a warm current rushing into her, making her whole body numb. She took the initiative to hug Ji Bochang's neck and responded to him. For a long time, the two kissed each other. Ji Bochang was breathing heavily, with an expression of conquest on his face, looking at Lian Xiaoyao, who was panting with a rosy face under him. Yao Yao, do you know how powerful I am? Ji Bochang stood up and looked at the white barrier above. How annoying. Lian Xiaoyao said in a delicate voice. Then she looked confused and asked. How do you know my name? Also, where did all these things that suddenly appeared in my mind come from? Is it because of you? Perhaps, this is a match made in heaven. Ji Bochang smiled faintly. As for your name? Humph tilde I won't tell you. Yao Yao, the heavens think we are a match made in heaven and have blessed us with a good marriage. HMPH tilde slippery mouth. Lian Xiaoyao snorted softly, but she also felt particularly happy in her heart. Her opinion of the man in front of her has completely changed. And her way of thinking is very simple. If you are willing to risk your life for me, then you love me, and I don't care about anything else. If you dare to let me down and abandon me, I will definitely take revenge on you at all costs. Do you hear me? I don't care how many women you have, or whether you will find other women in the future, but you must never let me down or abandon me. Lian Xiaoyao also stood up and said to Ji Bochang with her lips slightly pouted. If a beautiful woman falls in love with you, I will never let her down. Ji Bochang looked at her seriously and smiled softly. Hearing this, Lian Xiaoyao also pursed her lips and smiled sweetly, which was very touching. It is detected that their host makes the pregnant disciple Lian Xiaoyao happy, and the Holy Demon Bone is specially rewarded to evolve into the Holy Demon King Bone. Holy Demon King Bone, it is the bone of the Holy Demon King. It is indestructible and can greatly enhance the physical strength. It also has a terrifying self-healing ability. As their host's realm improves, the benefits will increase exponentially. Host, Ji Bochang. Age, 20 years old. Appearance, handsome. Constitution, Devil's Mad Body, Emperor's Yang Body God Level, Holy Demon's Heart, Holy Demon's Bones, Holy Demon's Royal Bones. Realm, 9th level of the Spiritual Realm, 1st level of the Daoist Realm. Skills, Heavenly Emperor Skills God Level. Magical Power, 9 transformations of the Devil God Level. Moves, Vast Divine Sword Technique God Level, Mysterious Divine Footwork God Level. Items, Vast Divine Sword God Level, even a sow would go crazy if she smells it. 9, Divine Escape Talisman 10, Curse Talisman 8, 40,000 Top Grade Spiritual Stones. Offspring, 0.52.